Good morning, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, August 19th, 3 days away from the big fight down here in Orlando. It is Fight Week. Tonight, a lot of people are asking on the internet, wrestling fans in particular, if I will show up and face Adam Cole face-to-face or if I'm scared to go in there. I'm not scared. I will be on NXT this evening. I'm not going alone because I'm not an idiot, obviously, but I will be in there, and obviously I'm getting ready for this Saturday's fight against Adam Cole, which will hopefully last only 10 to 15 seconds of time, where I just kick his soul into space, and then I pin him undefeated, walk out of there. But big news to talk about in sports today. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and we are in the middle of upset city. An 8-1 last night. The Lakers lose to the Portland Trailblazers, who have been playing incredible basketball. And Damian Lillard has been unconscious since missing 2 free throws to lose a game against the Clippers earlier in this bubble situation. But Damian Lillard pulled up from half court 4 times. He took the game over. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the Lakers lose their first game. They're now 3-6 in the bubble. They're on a bit of a schneid, a little bit of a rocky road. Will Frank Vogel be able to turn it around? There's allegedly some rumors, some things happening behind the scenes with the Lakers. What could possibly be happening behind the scenes in the bubble without everybody else finding out? Who knows? Excited to hear about the drama in the NBA. Also, another big upset in the NBA playoffs. The Orlando Magic, the team that is home to this city here in Orlando. But by the way, driving around Orlando here last couple weeks, I think there should be another professional sports team in Orlando.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This city, I think, would be very, very ready for it, let alone all the visitors that come into town that would make that something. Let's go to a game from out of town. I think another professional sports team. I guess the MLS, they have a team as well. Sure. But I'm talking like, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Orlando Magic, a team that hasn't been relevant in basketball for a long, long time, they beat the Milwaukee Bucks with Giannis
Antetokounmpo.
The Greek freak.
Yeah.
He nailed it over there.
Yep.
They beat them in the first round. So number 1 and number 2 seed in the West go down in their first game. Charles Barkley last night, a man who is obviously one of the faces of the NBA and basketball in general, he said if the Trailblazers beat the Lakers in game 1, he thinks they're going to sweep them. And we're going to talk to Terrence Ross in about 14 minutes, who had okay, here we go. He had 16 points and 7 rebounds. 18 points and 7 rebounds, but he was plus 19 whenever he was on the court. To put that in perspective, last night, Anthony Davis of the Lakers was minus 20, and LeBron James was minus 3. Terrence Ross, friend of the show, man, we sent candy to the bubble because we talked to him last time, and he talked to us about how the human side of things aren't perfect. We try to help out. He'll be joining us in 13 minutes to talk about, he predicted that there was going to be great shooting in the bubble. He said whenever you get on that court, it felt like you were in like an LA Fitness, or it felt like you were in a high school gym. It felt small. He said, look for guys to be pulling up from anywhere. And by the way, Terrence Ross, dunk contest champ at one point, he was 100% right. Dudes have been pulling up, in particular Damian Lillard, who has been a surprise for the Portland Trailblazers, who not only won their playing game in electrifying fashion with Carmelo Anthony getting hot again, but now they take down the Lakers, game 1 of the playoffs. Will Frank Vogel and the Lake Show be able to turn that thing around, or is it going to be problematic down there in the bubble? TBD. Also, in our world, and I think we're the only humans that watch the show.
Yep.
And I found this out because when I was tweeting about the show, normally I'll get some like, oh, I know what you're talking about. Very, very tiny, minuscule references of anybody knowing what I was talking about. But all the boys did, so we'll talk about it a little bit here and catch you up on what you missed with the Rams and Chargers training camp. At Tone Diggs is here looking fantastic. At Ty Schmidt, who was the valedictorian of his high school.
What?
We just found that out 2 minutes ago. I've known the guy for 3.5 years now at this point. Just found out. Gave the speech and everything. I had no idea. I knew you got accepted to Harvard and you chose Iowa instead, which is why you're our guy, by the way, which is why you're our guy. But you gave a speech in like the teachers, the parents, the school board, the students, every human had to listen to you speak on graduation day.
Yeah, so we had 2 people spoke. I was the one like the make everyone laugh, get everyone to have a good time.
Yeah, classic.
And then the one behind me was like the hey, send everyone into their future, heartfelt.
Boo.
So
needless to say, mine was much better.
So you got a rousing.
Oh yeah, good pop.
Good pop.
Good pop. Yeah, went after a couple teachers that I'd been waiting on doing it. I mean, it was a good time.
Ours was super serious, if I do recall.
Really?
Our high school one, yeah. The superintendent talked about a book called Who Moved My Cheese, I guess, which is about
cocaine?
Nope. Not cheeses and money. It was,
Okay.
I think it's an actual reference to a mouse trying to find the cheese and change coming into the mouse. Is like, if I took that, I never looked up if that book was right. The only thing I'm going off of there is my memory of that guy's speech, because I was so intrigued that this guy was talking about who moving cheese or something with a cheese very early. I was like, well, I'm intrigued by this. Nobody was paying attention. I think every human within, I would say, probably a 15-foot or maybe even 15-yard radius was partially intoxicated.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good time, but ours was very serious. I would have, man, if Ty Schmidt was the valedictorian of Plum High School, could you fathom what that speech would have been like, Diggs? That would have been incredible.
No, is there video of it?
I know that someone recorded it. I tried to find it a couple years ago, but I think my dad had like the shoulder cam, like the mounted one. So I don't know if I'd ever be able to find it at this point.
Valedictorian's not easy.
No,
That is not
at all.
easy. That's like a competition / trying incredibly hard at things, like academic-wise. What was your GPA?
Above 4.0.
Oh, you took those advanced
I
classes.
did.
This
I
guy.
did.
I want to let you know I was in GATE in elementary
Yeah,
school.
same.
So
That's what I've heard.
yeah, gifted and talented education.
Nailed it.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, we were both in it.
We played. Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, we were. We played,
played
20,
24.
Yeah, we played 24. That's what we were in. But I quickly got kicked out of that particular
I also got kicked
group
out,
of
yeah.
humans quickly, which, by the way, to their credit, was probably the right move. So I'm happy you represented for all of us up there. A guy who was not a valedictorian, he actually did his junior year of high school twice at Boston Connor. What's up?
Yeah, I was not the valedictorian. I did, I gave it a good college try, the first week of high school. But then, I said, it's not for me. Let's let someone else be valedictorian.
Now, Connor, listen, we mocked you rather hard for doing your junior year twice, because where we come from, if somebody was to do that, I mean, that would be a tough.
Eviscerated.
That'd be
Gotta
a
transfer.
tough.
Absolutely.
No. I mean, if they had a good personality, which they probably did, which is why they're doing junior year twice, like they would have to just take that. But that is something they would have to hear about probably for a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you told us, I acted as if it was normal, and then you sold it to us, we were like, I guess, yeah. I mean, if you wanna
It was awesome.
I guess
it
it's
was
not too shabby.
Well, because you get your, imagine if you went to a school outside of Plum and then you're a junior at that school, but when you come back to Plum, you're a senior around town. It was a great time.
I was never really around, by the way. I was always on the road with Tim McAfee.
oh, yeah?
Me and
Kicking
Tim
balls?
McAfee playing soccer, everywhere. I've been down. I mean, I've been around some towns there, but Plum, if you could do 5 years of high school there, I'm not sure if that would be good or bad.
You'd definitely be the weird fifth year.
Yeah, for sure.
It was a good time.
Let's talk about the jersey you're wearing.
Yeah.
That's not Pat the Patriot.
This is not Pat the Patriot, this is Cam Newton.
You're seeing videos out of training camp about Cam Newton. He and Bill Belichick seem to be having an incredible start here. Now, how do we know that? Because Bill Belichick has done an interview where Bill Belichick said that Cam Newton's an incredibly hard worker. He's talked glowingly about Cam Newton, something that you have not heard Bill Belichick do for anybody in a long time. So the thought that he came out and started talking about Cam Newton, we're like, oh, is this a new Bill Belichick? Then whenever you see Cam Newton dancing, having a good time, still posting on Instagram, by the way. So he's still doing social media. He's still the Cam Newton that we saw before getting signed to the Patriots, maybe dialed back a little bit because he's not worried about just working out. Now he's trying to learn a calculus playbook is how he described it. So it feels like the people who said they weren't going to work are obviously not thinking about the change in Bill Belichick or the change in Cam Newton. Right? We saw a very new Cam Newton this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very different. Now, granted, everybody's going to say, no, he's always been charismatic. I agree, but this is a very different charismatic.
Motivated.
You got to see the couple different emotions that he had. Back then, he was having a good time, swagged out, let's enjoy this life, blah, 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 keep it moving. Now it's like, I'm pissed. I'm not happy. I've never been in a situation like this, and I am not going out like that. That is kind of what I saw from his workout videos. And if he is still riding that momentum wave, chip on the shoulder thing into this training camp, I would assume him and Bill Belichick are going to get along well, because you know why? We are both on the same page here.
Yes.
Bill Belichick, for as much as he will not say it, he is going to go ahead and give him a call for sure. Whenever he goes to bed at night, he knows that he wants to win with whatever team he has.
Yeah.
That is something big. He referenced it on draft night. He said, hey, whenever we had Castle at quarterback. We fit it for him. Jimmy Garoppolo, we fit it for him. Jacoby Brissett, we fit it for him. Bill Belichick sees this as a big challenge. Even if you won't say it, an exciting challenge, I would assume. And he's going all in, letting Cam be Cam. I know this is what this guy's like. Yeah, I can coach all types of people. Everybody thinks I can only coach a certain group of humans. I can coach anybody, any type of personality. I've done it before. I've brought people in. This is the thing. And if Cam Newton is feeling himself and is healthy, I think as a Patriot fan, you got to be ecstatic about the videos that are coming out of training camp.
I'm fired up because my biggest worry going into training camp was I'm going to have to watch Brady throw to Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, the whole entire, and Rob Gronkowski, and now we got Cam Newton dance on the field. And you mentioned it yesterday. With Bill Belichick, if you love football, if you love it, then you will be successful in the organization. And Cam Newton loves football, and he's got a massive chip on his shoulder. It's honestly a match made in heaven.
He's wearing a hoodie out there under his pads too, which is normally only reserved for the people who come into camp incredibly out of shape. But we know for sure he's in the best shape of his life.
I think
so he's trying
shape.
to get an even better. I mean, everything coming out of New England is insane. Let's pivot a little bit here. We have a guest joining us, a man who is undefeated in the NBA playoffs. He had 18 points.
Yep.
He had 7 rebounds. He was plus 19 whenever he was on the court for the Orlando Magic, who beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the first game of the first round of the playoffs for the NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, stud for the Orlando Magic, former NBA dunk contest champion. Ladies and gentlemen, Terrence Ross. Can't hear you. You're muted. That's probably on our end if I had to guess. Let's T, can you hear me, T Ross? Can you hear me, T Ross? I can't hear you. You look good though. The shoulder shimmy was next. Oh no. Is it our fault? Oh no. Oh, no. All right, let's go to a break for radio. We will start the conversation with Terrence Ross at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show if he gets back during the commercial break. On the other side, we have Terrence Ross joining us. His shoulder shimmy leads me to believe that he is excited to talk. Yes. It was great, too, by the way. Had it going. I'd be feeling that way, too. Orlando Magic are in the playoffs, and they're winning right now. That's a good time to be in Orlando, where we are. Fight Week shout out. It's also a great time to be Terrence Ross. Can't wait to chat with him about it. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. Nailed it. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, August 19th. It came down to the buzzer, but ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, both visually and audio-wise, a man who has once won the NBA dunk contest, a man who had 18.7 rebounds in the first round of the first game of the playoffs for the Orlando Magic in their win against the Milwaukee Bucks. Ladies and gentlemen, Terrence Ross.
Yeah! Terrence! Woo!
Not doing the shimmy this time.
No. Come on, the shimmy was so much better. Nobody's going to even know that happened. Nobody's even know it happened.
That's over. You killed it. It's okay.
It wasn't me. Wait, it wasn't me. Let's blame technology. We're both in Orlando and some. Hey. There it is. Let's talk about it. Last time we talked to you, you said that you thought people were going to be able to pull up from anywhere and feel as if they can make it from anywhere because the gym looks small. You were 100% accurate. After playing in these games now, what is the mindset of playing in that bubble in that smaller court?
Oh man, it's honestly it's different. Like with no fans, it makes a difference, man. It feels like there's no home court advantage. Like if anything, we have it just because we're here. We've been here. Everybody else has traveled or whatever. But for the most part, it feels like just like a normal game almost.
Really? Does it feel like a pickup game or like a normal game, like a regular season?
For us, we have nothing to lose, so we're going out there. We're trying to fuck people up regardless. So, I mean, we trying to get a dub. So, we out here just getting out there. So, we feel like we got nothing to lose. So, that's what we playing like.
You had a hell of a game. Your point differential when you were on the court was at plus 19, which is obviously – what's that?
It's a plus minus, baby.
Hey, is that the stat that matters in basketball? Is that the only stat that matters?
It don't matter if you miss a whole bunch of shots. I can go 0 for 9. But if I'm out there doing something else, getting rebounds, getting stops, and the team is doing better when I'm on the court, and you're in that plus minus, that's all that matters.
Okay, so that's a stat that really matters that I just learned about this morning. Last night, Anthony Davis was minus 20, LeBron minus 3, T. Ross at plus 19. I'm not the one talking contracts here, but I'd be going right into the booth with that. How does the Magic team feel? This has to be cool. Now, listen, we all understand the Orlando Magic have not been a topic of conversation for a long time. Here we are now in the bubble, a lot of eyes on the NBA, and you guys upset the Milwaukee Bucks in first game. A lot more to do, obviously, but the team has to feel damn good about this.
Honestly, not really, man. We was in this situation last year with the Raptors. We went to their place and we got the first win, and they turned it up on us. So right now, I think we're all just ready for that next level. We know that they're going to come out. We know Giannis is going to try to Euro step his way to the fucking cup every single time. We know that they're going to come after it. So it's on us now, man. All the pressure's on us. We feel like because we got to go out there and perform because we did this shit last year where we lost. So I mean, we feel like this is where all the shit starts. Okay,
so how now? You obviously have an incredible game. You just a couple weeks ago, I believe you had to leave the bubble, and we were all very worried because we had just talked to you. We had just sent you not a great assortment of candies, but I guess there wasn't a lot of options down there. Is it
That's
okay?
all you guys right there, bro.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all you guys. Yeah.
But then you had to leave. And, by the way, taking out the second bed to create more room for activities, very smart. That was very smart for you. Are you okay? What happened? Happy to see you back and having a great game.
No, it's crazy. So I basically was having like these weird kind of chest pains. It was like after the game, I was eating and I was going to sleep and I started feeling like almost like it felt like heartburn. But then it just started getting way, way worse. And then I kind of got, like, debilitating, like, chest pains. Damn. So I called the other team doc, and he came and checked me out. And then I was like, no, I need to go to, like, the fucking ER. Like, something's wrong. And so I went there, tested. We did a whole bunch of, tests on, like, the heart, EKGs, all that other shit. All that shit came back good. Oh, boy. And then we went to a specialist, and they said that basically that I had stomach acid get into my esophagus. And it caused it to like start to spasm. Oh. So like my fucking chest to like my stomach was like just tightening and tightening. It was getting tighter and tighter. It was like hurting to breathe and like all types of shit. So it was weird. It was just a weird freak accident and just kind of happened. But they gave me some shit to take. So hopefully I'm going to be fine.
Well, I am very excited, obviously, that you're back. We're going to get to another break for radio. We'll continue this conversation at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show with T. Ross. Hey, that is scary. That had to be scary. Yeah.
Why?
I
I didn't know what was happening. It was crazy.
Well, let's get to a break. Hold on. We'll continue the conversation at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show with Terrence Ross. Terrence, man, there is panic happening at some radio station for your incredible story right there because they're trying to dump all your swear words. So we had to go to the radio break. What's that?
Podcast, what is this? Am I allowed to curse or not? I can't tell.
Okay, so right now you can curse. Right now you can curse. We're on YouTube. In like 5 minutes, we'll be on a radio station live. You should
like your code word or flip or like.
Oh yeah, I'll give you. Yeah, the issue is our technology. We can't talk to you before you go on the air, so it's leaving you in a bad spot. And we couldn't hear you. But that story was fucking crazy, insane. Let's get back to that a little bit. So you go into the hospital overnight. What are the tests they run? They just want to see, like, you did EKG, you said, and everything like that. Could they not figure it out?
They did some blood work. They did a bunch of blood work. They did. They put an EKG to me. After that, it kind of just was. They giving me IVs, asked me a ton of questions. But pretty much like everything was just coming back normal. So they were like, okay, maybe we're just gonna send you to a specialist. It was like a gastric specialist or something like that. And he was kind of like, I was describing my symptoms to him, and he was kind of telling me, okay, this is probably what happened. I can give you something for it. And then he actually gave me medicine for like the actual like spasm. So if I ever start having that again, it would be something to take the pain away.
This has never happened to you before, yeah?
Actually, yeah. Like, actually 2.5 months ago. Like, yeah, it was wild. I really thought I was gonna die. I didn't know what was happening because I woke up. Now everything was normal, and then I just like feeling like this weird, like this, like heartburn. And I was going to my me and my wife were going to our friend's house, and just on the way, I was like, "Yo, something's wrong." Like, I couldn't stop. Like, I couldn't sit still. I was just tripping. Like, my chest was hurting. It got really bad. I was like in a fetal position in the car. And she had to pull over. I was like on the side of the road, just like on the ground. It was bad.
Damn. Well, I'm happy you're all right. I'm happy we figured this out so you get some medicine so you don't have to be in a fetal position ever again.
Again. It was bad. It lasted, like the pain was constant. It was probably for like maybe an hour and a half.
Oh, man. Well, Terrence, I'm happy you're okay. I'm happy we figured out what the fuck's going on because it sounded like your body was trying to just, ruin you from the inside out there.
Yeah.
They were like, I have scarring maybe at like the bottom, like where my esophagus meets like my stomach. It might be like a little scar tissue now because of like all the spasms. So I was just like, is that a problem? They was like, yeah. I was like,
do we have more to talk about here? There's fucking scars everywhere. I want to talk about the Zoom fans. You said it feels like there is no fans, but I feel like that would be weird to see just random faces plopped all over the place. Is that not weird at all?
It's weird because now, I mean, during the regular season or the remaining games or whatever, they had like a good amount of like both fans in the arena. But now it's like our fans are now cut in half. So now we have like maybe 7-8 people in this entire like Zoom arena. But it's weird because when they're watching, they're on a delay. So like somebody dunk, we're already at the other end. Everybody's like, the other way now. So it really doesn't make a difference. They don't cheer louder. Nothing happens. It's just like it's like a scrimmage in practice. Same thing.
We appreciate you joining us today so much. I know you got practice or you got to get to a bus to get to practice or whatever. What are we working on? Are you working on film? What's a big day today? What does a basketball practice in the middle of playoffs look like?
Like this right here, brother. I'm not going to show you too much because I'm not trying to get in trouble.
Yeah,
but,
smart.
Let me see if I can just, because I was reading this a little earlier. But anyway, playbooks, baby. Playbooks.
Oh, don't put it too close. Don't put it too close. They'll screenshot that. Yeah.
But y'all can put that out. But no, that's all we're doing, film and getting shots up. Going over scout.
Man, I hope you guys go on a run right now. This would be awesome.
Yeah.
Cinderella story, baby.
Hey, this would be awesome. This would be the time to do it, too. And we're in Orlando, so maybe we even get a chance to celebrate after. You know what I mean? Oh, well, can't because you can't go in public with anybody.
Oh, true.
Yeah, true. Can't fucking do it. Sorry, Terrence.
You guys don't worry.
Hey, you're the man. Late. What's that?
We can get you on a lake. We're right on like this big lake, and there's another hotel that people go to and from. we can get you guys through.
Whoa, I will not dive into that other hotel because I don't want any bad PR for the NBA. I would like you guys to just continue to do it. If people are escaping the bubble via like they're fucking escaping Alcatraz, swimming across a lake.
Big nuts to pull that one off, but I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, possible. Ladies and gentlemen, stud for the Orlando Magic, Terrence Ross. We appreciate you.
Terrence! Good boy, Terrence!
Thank you.
Man, it was breaking up in there, too.
It was clipping.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. Just got done with an incredible conversation with Terrence Ross. Could the people watching, when he was cutting out for us, was it cutting out for them too, I wonder?
I'm not sure. It sounded like one of those things where, like, when you both talk, like the thing that happened with AJ, like it just cancels out what he was saying.
Yeah, but whenever with AJ, he can't hear us whenever we step on him, but the audience can. So there is, I would like to know if they were having the same issues as we were, and if that's what AJ has to deal with whenever he's talking to us, I could see why he hates it.
Yeah, pretty frustrating.
Oh, my God, it is frustrating. There's no chance to even, like, because sometimes in a conversation, by the way, especially when you're talking, there's a chance that two people speak at the same time. Shouldn't happen all the time, obviously, with radio, TV, because that's, a little bit too much going on, a little bit of chaos. But every once in a while, that's going to happen. Yeah. And I couldn't hear half of the sentences he was saying there.
Well, the issue was like when he would say something, I would then laugh too, and then when you laugh,
it's dead.
It's dead.
So what it is though, it's when the phone is placed down on something. So you probably had it on a laptop. The voice coming back would blind him, or like would stop the audio. So it was on his end coming back to us.
Listen to Zito, by the way. Right there. Zito
I was trying to tell you to like have him raise the phone up.
I would like to let everybody know. That's what Zito just said. I would like to let everybody know that this Zito production, even though we had to pick up everything in our office and move it to a house and then to another house, and we had to have 700 different wires to plug this entire thing in, and potentially a door get moved or not for this entire thing, Zito said, I would like it to be known that we held up our end in that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, Zito production never ever fails. That's why that chain that you're wearing is earned, not given.
Amen to that. I love T-Ross, though. I love T-Ross.
I do, too. I'm a big-ass fan of him.
He slams the ball, too.
Yeah.
There was one play at the end of the game yesterday. He was, like, right next to the hoop, and he didn't even take a dribble, just a one-step dunk. He's, like, touching the top of the backboard.
He went at Giannis, too. It was awesome.
Hey, he's swagging, too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He's feeling.
Hair looks good.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he is feeling good, as he should. And by the way, he said, we were here last year, which a big sports show. I knew that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I knew that they were there last year. As soon as he said it, I was like, yeah, that's what I was about to mention to you. You guys were in the same situation last year, which, by the way, I would assume every other sports talk show that any Orlando Magic player was going to go on would ask him about. Last year in the same situation with Toronto Raptors, how do you get over it? Or local media doing that type of thing. I didn't have a clue about that, but I did know that, boy, the Orlando Magic have not been in contention or anything of conversation for a long time. And if that team can go and do it, since we're down, this city, there's a lot of people in this city. I had no idea. And now, granted, Orlando is like 3 hours big, which means drive from one end to the other side. It's like 3 hours, I think. They have a lot of surface area. But this city, I think, is legit ready to go for another team if they were to ever do one.
Yeah,
It'd be
for
awesome
sure.
if they won. It'd be awesome if the Blazers won, too. I think we're all rooting for both of those.
No.
Who are you rooting for?
Lakers. Lakers are going to win the next 4 games and win the series.
I didn't know you were a Lakers fan like this.
Oh, yeah. Loved Kobe. Diehard Kobe guy, and I like LeBron. So,
okay.
For you.
Do you like LeBron? Do you still like LeBron's game right now, like how he's playing in the bubble? They are 3-6 in the bubble right now, have not played that great. Last night, a lot of the conversation, not only about the Trailblazers, Dame getting hot, pulling up, beating the Lakers, 8 beating a 1 seed here. This is a big deal, especially with the Los Angeles Lakers being a lot of the main voices in why this bubble happened, because everybody thought that team was a team that could make a run. Now it seems like they're potentially in trouble. Not that they can't just turn around like that, which is what basketball is, and I very much understand that. But a lot of conversation is like, does LeBron even want to be in there to play? Like, does LeBron even want to be down there anymore? Like I think that is, a lot of people are even asking that question. Like, does LeBron even want to be there anymore?
Yeah, I'm sure more stuff will come out about him not being out there at the start of the game and what that was all about. You know, like someone in the media kind of asked him the question, and then when he was prepared to answer it, the guy backed off and didn't say anything.
I think we have that video, don't we, Foxy? We have that video? Yeah, hit it.
You weren't on the court for the anthem and the intros. Wanted to see if there was any intention behind that. And 2, could you please talk to me about the hat that you're wearing that all of your teammates wore to the game tonight?
You want to know why I wasn't out there?
I don't need to know the specific reason.
Well, you're asking, so you want to know why I wasn't out there?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, there you
Talk
go.
to me about the half, please.
So I wonder what does that mean? Hey, that is, I assume we're not the only show that's watching that and going, what cryptic message was just sent right there? And what does that media guy know? What does that media guy know that we don't know? Because I'm watching that and I'm like, well, when he said, no, let's move on, it was like, oh, so he must have a little bit of
An idea.
of what's going on.
We don't.
But by the way, that media guy, I know you're on a Zoom. I know it's LeBron James. I mean, for the good of everything, like, yeah, I would. You know what? I would like to know.
Tell me.
But maybe he does know, and that's why he doesn't want LeBron to talk about it. But what is going on? Does LeBron want out of there? Is he trying to fight? And now, granted, there's a lot of social injustice protesting happening, which basically everybody understood was going to happen throughout the entire thing. Breonna Taylor, the cops still have not been arrested, so that's so. But everything else is like, is there something deeper than that going on with LeBron? I would like to know.
I think this is what he lives for too, though. It's like when they get beat last night, and everyone's like, "Oh, LeBron stinks. He's dead. The Lakers are dead." And he's like, "All right, let's do this again." But how much more can he do? He had a triple-double last night. His stats were amazing. Like, Anthony Davis had 21 points in the first half and then played arguably his, worst half of the year in the second half. His plus-minus was terrible. Like, they played a bad game. Didn't make any threes.
-20, by the way.
Yeah, terrible.
Do we think that they're trying to turn the Jets on when they get the Black Mamba jerseys?
Well, because they are bringing in a patch to honor Kobe Bryant.
It's a whole jersey, right? It's a different jersey.
Yeah, they have a jersey, but they're holding off till round 2, so you would think that they come out the first game like, hey, we should play pretty hard for Kobe, but...
Well, and also, once they locked up the number 1 overall seed, right? Once they locked up the number 1 overall seed, they started resting guys, didn't they? Like Bron wasn't even playing. So, and I think we saw early in the bubble, a lot of people are playing pretty bad basketball. And then once people got hot, I mean, it was a very different ball game in there. Are the Lakers too late to the race? Is the Portland Trailblazers, who had to get hot, by the way, they had to get hot at the end. They had to shoot well. They got used to the gym quickly. They played, and Dame basically has been in and out of consciousness here for the last, 2-3 weeks here. So are the Lakers too behind in the catching up to the chemistry, to the flow, to the rhythm, or is this just one game where they happen to potentially one of their stars didn't play well in the second half and we're all making too much of a to-do? But Charles Barkley said they're going to get swept. Hey, Charles Barkley said they're going to get swept out there.
They might.
That's quite a big statement.
And they might.
With LeBron, it's always his supporting cast. Like, Danny Green didn't hit anything last night. Contavious Caldwell-Pope didn't hit anything last night.
KCP.
Yeah.
Or KP. I saw his stat line, and I did, to be honest, big sports show. I obviously knew who that was when I looked at the photo, and then I saw his stats. I was like, this guy stinks. I was like, why are we putting a bench player's stats up here? And it was like, oh, this is to signify that J.R. Smith was trending last night because he wasn't getting put into the game. Danny Green did nothing. He was getting laughed off the internet last night. I mean, it was tough. I was following along the game on the internet more so than on TV. There was a lot of conversation happening around that entire thing. And then old Frank Vogel's got to kind of rein it all in somehow. In what, one day? They got a game tomorrow?
Yeah, one day.
And by the way, two's a little bit of a train there at that point. You got to really think about some things. I hope the Lakers turn it on, though. It's good for the NBA.
That's a good thing for these one seeds that lost yesterday. That in the bubble there is only one day off in between games. I assume they want to get back on the court immediately.
Unless there's off-court drama.
Which there is.
True.
Which allegedly there is. Then you would like a little – we don't know if there is.
Well, I mean, LeBron loves to build these narratives, but there has to be some sort of off-court drama just in case they lose so he has something to pin it on.
And that is Boston Connor, a known hater of LeBron.
I respect him, but, I mean, hey, look, if you're going to talk about it. If you're not, don't.
Well, and I think that is a very intriguing thing because he has an incredible game last night. Conversation is, okay, what's going on off the court with the team, right? And that's whenever you're LeBron James, top whatever players of all time, top player of all time, however you want to talk, 3 maybe if you get into the old, well, Wilt did this and the whole thing that I hear like there's a lot of that conversation that can happen, even though it is entirely different sports. Was being played just 20 years ago versus what's being played now. But anything he does is going to get talked about, and he knows that. That's why he's trying to use his platform to promote the message that he wants to promote and hopefully, change some things. But then the conversation all revolves around what's going on off the court now. And it's like, oh, my God. And then this media interaction happens. It's like, damn, now am I more invested in the drama around the NBA than I am in the NBA itself? Is what happened to the MLB happening to me in the NBA? And other than the highlights of Dame pulling up and our guy Terrence Ross and the Orlando Magic going ham and upset, other than that, I'm not finding myself seeking any of these games really. You know what I mean? And I feel terrible about it because I was pumped for them to get back in there. But I just watch all the highlights on the internet and I follow via the Twitter because NBA Twitter is so active.
Yeah.
I mean, it is maybe the most active Twitter out of all the wrestling Twitter, also very active, by the way. I have learned that. And I'll tell you what, they are going to be active tonight because I got some things to say.
Hell yeah.
And I don't even know if they're going to let me say them or not, but we'll figure that out. But you can follow along with their games, and there's a lot of talk about their ratings going down and their ratings being down, and for good reason, because that's a big deal to sponsors, and that's how you generate revenue, and the TV deals are how there's a lot to do with that. But the way things are consumed in 2020 are just so much different. Like, I feel like I am following this NBA playoffs, and I couldn't tell you how many games I've turned on and watched because I've just been keeping up with it on the internet.
Yeah.
That has to hurt your TV things, but then you just have to pivot and figure out how are we going to monetize this because we're kind of changing with everything.
Well, I think for me too, like I find myself just watching like the last 6 minutes or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter because there are so many runs. Like there would just be these massive gaps in who's winning, and then it's like, okay, just give it 5 minutes. The other team who's losing will make a run. It'll be even, and then it just kind of goes like that until the fourth, and then usually the better team pulls away.
It feels like that's every game now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. And in those gaps, too, like, it's highlights of Harden, scoring 10 straight points. And you catch those on Twitter. Like, you'll see all those clips.
And, by the way, with documentary-style cameras being shot on it. I mean, that is – I would assume the ratings thing is a conversation that is happening with the NBA executives. Like, hey, we have to figure this out. But then what are they going to do? Are they going to change the way they take over the internet whenever their games are on? Now, granted, nothing takes over the internet or TV like the NFL. Okay, I am not saying – and anybody that thinks I'm saying the NBA is near the NFL when it comes to social interaction, it is – if you look at when football is happening – now, granted, it's not always during the NBA or times that matter in the NBA, which would be interesting to kind of see how that battles. But if you look when the NFL is happening, they got 15 of the top 20 trends in the United States.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is, right? We'll always be that way. But the NBA, the internet, the social media of the NBA and the way it's covered is very large. I mean, it is huge. Very, very. And I feel like, just like I said, I will consume the NBA on the internet. I don't think they've ever gotten a rating from me. And by the way, where do these ratings come from? The ratings come from something that is. What, no clue? It's back in the day, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's Nielsen or what they're doing. And I'd be curious, too, like, are the primetime games way down still?
Yeah,
like,
that's
or is it like the 1:30 game and the 3:30 game that no one's watching and everyone's still watching the primetime games?
Yeah, I don't know, because there's always ways to spin all those numbers, right? People are incredible at spinning numbers.
Yeah.
Numbers, data, stats, analytics have all grown. The number of stats. We know more about things than we have ever known in the history of anything. We know exactly how many people are listening in Idaho. We know exactly how many people are following along here. Like, those are the stats that everybody has nowadays. It's like, except for TV. I don't know if TV has that. I'm not 100% sure. But the internet, you know pretty much where things are. And the way you can spin those numbers is just a different way, and you can project things to tell whatever story you want to tell. I assume the NBA is worried about the ratings, but I don't think they should be, because their fan base is a loyal one. So the companies that get in bed with the NBA are probably going to see benefit from being in bed with the NBA, but the ratings are a problem.
Well, 4 playoff games a day, too, is electric. Like, even if the ratings are down, being able to just from 1:30 to midnight watch playoff basketball is awesome.
Gambling on all of them.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
Live betting, getting a chance, and for the states that don't have it, like Florida, for instance, I would really, something should happen in Florida with the legalized sports gambling on the apps. Every state for sure.
Yeah.
But the one we're currently in. So the March Madness, the thing that's awesome about it is the games all day. The thing about World Cup is it's games all day. Thing about the Olympics, it's things all day. The thing about this right now is things all day, and we can't sit there and do the live betting on it, which would be very frustrating.
Yeah.
But boy, if you're in a state right now with a mobile gaming or gambling app, that these games, if you got nothing going on, who knows? Just live bet the entire thing. You can live bet what's about to happen, and you don't have to bet big. It's just kind of like, oh, that's enjoyable. Yep, okay, here we go. I did that. Or you could do what I do and just, predict it, not find out if it happened until a couple hours later, and you feel very, very smart about yourself. I mean, that's just the way to go. The NBA, interesting ratings moment, but in the middle of the playoffs. The NFL is knuckle deep in the middle of training camp right now. Pads are on. Guys are getting hurt. Gerald McCoy got injured for the Dallas Cowboys the other day. Everybody saw the video. It circled the internet. Ruptured his quad or pulled his quad. Maybe his quad came off. Something happened with his quad. A big-time quad injury happened while doing a warm-up drill, giving a look for somebody else. So this guy is literally doing everything right. Not only is he helping somebody else, he's being a dummy for them, basically. During that, boom, blows out his quad. Now everything is starting to leak out about the financials of his contract and the setup because he was injury waived, which means the Dallas Cowboys decided to waive Gerald McCoy, which we find out now via an Adam Schefter leak of his contract that there was actually a quad clause in the contract that if he got an injury to the quad, they could cut him and not owe him any more money than they already gave him for his signing bonus, which was $3 million, I believe. Now, I said it's a cold world because just one day after this video of him taking a fall that looked nasty and having to do surgery on his quad and everything like that, he gets cut, right? And it's a cold world. That's what the NFL is. And everybody says it stands for not for long and all that. But when this type of stuff happens, the internet's quickest reaction is he got paid $3 million to do one practice or whatever. It's like, I get it. He got paid $3 million for 2 practices. But how about future employment? How about getting a chance to rehab with the Dallas Cowboys as opposed to going to an offsite place that will be paid for, but still doing it? How about being in the building? Like, there is a lot that goes into whenever somebody gets waived after being injured because you're no longer like actually a part of the team anymore. Like, even if you do your treatment there, you're all by yourself. You're not going in. It's just, and maybe they'll do it for him because there's a lot of conversation saying he'll be a leader and everything like that. But I don't think that's the norm. I don't think that's ever been the norm for anybody I saw. It's just he got $3 million for that. It's like, well, will he be able to get another job ever again after this? Will the Dallas Cowboys feel any? Now, granted, the Dallas Cowboys stayed with Jalen Smith, right, with the linebacker when he got hurt.
Yep.
They stayed with him. They have shown that this is not the thing, but this is the reality of the NFL. If there's a clause in there that they can get rid of you and not pay you any money, they're going to take it, which leads me to believe that whenever they went through that contract with him, they said that, and they're like, oh, it's in every contract. Don't worry about it. That is the classic go-to, by the way, for anybody negotiating with it. Oh, that's in every contract. Oh, that's in every contract. It's like, well, how about this? Not mine.
Yeah. And how specific, too.
Quad injury. And we looked up his injury history.
Yep.
He's got a foot, I believe. He's got a shin somehow, or calf.
Yeah.
He's got a hip. Yep. He's got a pec, and it's all on his right side.
Tricep,
And the only thing that it hadn't hit yet, it seemed, if the thing was a quad injury. So the fact that they said that, very wild. But the fact that they cut him, it's just cold, cold, cold world.
When guys get injuries, season-ending injuries, and they're not cut, they're on the team they have a contract for years and years and years. Do they normally do their physical therapy while you guys are practicing, or is it like they come in early to do it so that they can still come to practice and be a part of practice and hang out with the group or not?
Rehab is normally done during practice for the guys that aren't on the team, but they still do meetings. And by the way, when they're done with rehab, they'll go out to practice, right? So they'll see like the end of practice, but they're watching the film of the practice. For us, I would assume a lot of teams are different because there's some teams that practice in the morning. We're always an afternoon practice team, so I think everybody does. Our guys would normally do their rehab during practice or butt crack of dawn. So it's like you could get in there super early and get it done or whatever. But during the day, whenever the active players are available for rehab, it is very much promoted to be in there for rehab. Like, you can't join the club in the tub or whatever is the big thing. But if you're a guy who has anything, like you are being, I don't want to say pushed to do rehab, but like expected, like you need to take care of your business because a healthy you is better for the team. So normally during the hours that it's available, meeting times too. Some guys, if they're not going into the meetings for whatever reason, maybe they're too low, they'll do it then. But those athletic trainers that people call it, their days just never stop. Everybody's like, oh, you know what? The water boys that go out there and just spray the water, they get paid an average of $60,000 a year or something like that. It's like, not enough. Those people, women, and water girls and water boys, they're there from 5 a.m. to probably 7 p.m. every single day. They have to be the first ones in. They have to be the last one. Along with the equipment managers, the same thing. It's like you guys see them squirting water in on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays in America, Canada, Mexico, and Europe. But what you don't see is the rolling of a hamstring at 5:15 a.m. so that person could go do rehab over here. It's just like that is a thankless job, but they have to get everybody right, by the way, because if the team invested in them, You know what we need? We need them to be healthy because we invested in them.
Does their workload change during the season? Like, are they super busy because more guys are getting hurt at the start of camp and their bodies just aren't as ready as opposed to, like, first couple weeks of the season?
First couple weeks of training camp, you got double the amount of humans there. Right? So then there is intern athletic trainers in there that are taping ankles, trying to help out as much as possible. But if it's a player who's potentially on the fringe, but he's got something, you don't want him to do rehab with a college kid. So the physical therapist on staff, they still have to drop all the programs for him. So they're in till there's a guy named Aaron Burrill, and he's a West Virginia guy. He's the head physical therapist for the Indianapolis Colts. Kyle, I mean, there is an incredible, and I don't want to list off everybody's name, but you get it in that room. They're an incredible group of people. Training camp, when everybody else is doing their meetings and stuff, and I'm just moseying around, like either working on my jumper in the gym or whatever. One of my last stops will be over there at the athletic training room or whatever, and this dude would be in his little corner office typing up plans for tomorrow for each player, and I would just walk in there like, "What's going on, man?" "Well, I only got like 30 more guys." But he's been doing it for I think like 20 years though. Like loves being a part of the team, but they are a massive part of the team, and they don't ever get talked about. Massive part of the team. The equipment managers, the athletic trainers, that is a massive, massive, massive part of the team. And I would assume in Detroit that those two groups and the football players, they love Calvin Johnson, and Calvin Johnson loves them. It's just the other half of the business doesn't always. The Fords. You're talking about the Fords. That is who Calvin Johnson still despises, it feels like, to this day.
Rightfully so.
Ain't that right, Foxy?
Hey, baby steps, Pat. Baby steps. We had Calvin Johnson zooming in with the wide receivers. I still don't understand why the front office won't just give him the money. I don't think it's even that much money. I want to say I saw it's like $1.6 million. Just give him the bonus.
1.6. That's why he hates him, by the way.
Hey.
That's why he hates him.
I might be wrong there. Don't take that to the grave. But the Colts did it to Andrew Luck. Just figure it out, Lions, all right?
Well, the Colts did it to Andrew Luck. I would assume that's because they thought he was potentially going to come back. They were like, he's going to come back. I assume when Calvin – and there is very much a difference between – I mean, there's two buildings that people are trying to make. One, obviously, if you have one cohesive – unit in there. There's two buildings. There's the front office. There's that entire situation. And then there's the football side of things. And the general manager is supposed to be like the tie in between the two, If you don't have a good building, a synergetic.
Ooh,
well said.
Good synergy.
Is that a word?
Synergy.
Oh, yeah.
A synergetic building, that can affect things. And obviously, I would assume that's what has affected Calvin Johnson's relationship. I mean, there's a lot of people on that other side that do not like me as a human, and I knew that. But in the football side, I was absolutely loved.
Well, not even just Calvin Johnson. The Lions just have never had good synergy in their facility since the beginning of time. It's not as if it just started.
This is a big time story, though. By the way, it has been headlines because there hasn't been a lot of stories. $1 million.
Yeah, so I was hoping.
Oh my God!
Stepped down.
Ford would literally toilet paper.
Oh yes.
Oh, that's why he hates him. He's like, you guys wanting to give me $1 million? I'm literally the best player you guys have ever had on the team. Nope, get out of here. See you later. We want Creed at halftime at Thanksgiving. We don't want you to do anything. We'd rather have Creed here than you. Kid Rock here than you. Ninja here than you. And those guys, although they are all big, big fans of the Lions, obviously always have been, you just stay the hell out of here. What a wild, if I'm Calvin Johnson, I'm like, that's just like principle, I'd assume, with this guy.
Yeah.
Because I think Calvin Johnson, there's been people that have tweeted me and said, well, classic football player who ran through all his money. By the way, I think Calvin Johnson actually has invested all of his money.
I think he's doing very well.
Very smart. Georgia Tech guy, very smart.
I think he saved parts of Africa as well. I think
he started like a CBD company or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, he is doing well. I think the narrative is, it must need money. That's why he's upset. Well, this particular one sounds like it's just principle. Like $1 million.
Do the Fords need money?
What is that, a handful of Shelbys?
Whoa.
Are the Fords the Fords in trouble?
Are the Fords in trouble?
Oh, my God. Is that why she sold the team to her daughter?
Oh, no.
Because they're in trouble?
Yeah, Fords are in trouble.
That's the move she should have made. She should have got in there, made amends with Calvin Johnson. Everything would have been great.
That's why the Broncos Ford Broncos haven't hit the market yet because they don't have enough
That's
money to
right.
create
You're
them.
right.
They had to MTO these things, make to order.
Yep.
If you order one, we'll be able to make because the Fords have gone broke. They can't even pay Calvin Johnson $1 million.
Hemorrhaging cash right now.
Oh my God, robbing Peter to pay Paul here.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
no wonder
no.
Stafford can't win a playoff game.
Poor Matt Patricia. We thought he was going to potentially get fired. They can't fire him because you know why? They can't hire anybody else.
No.
They have no money. Is that why they won't pay him, Foxy? Because the Fords are in trouble and there's no money in the Lions organization?
That's why they had to get
I
rid of
have no
Darius
idea,
Slay
Pat.
too.
Oh, they got rid of
yeah.
for a bag of
Bag of
balls.
balls.
Because the Eagles knew. They're like, oh, they're broke.
They have no money.
Wow. Detroit fans do not deserve this.
Well, yeah.
I have no rebuttal to this because it is disgusting. Just give the man his money.
Hey, move the
Foxy,
team down to Orlando.
Foxy, what if you gave him in
Can we figure that out?
Start a GoFundMe.
Can we figure that out? Let's start a GoFundMe. I guarantee Detroit will have that money like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
We won't have clean water, but we will get the money to Calvin Johnson.
Detroit people are awesome, and we have met a plenty of
Loyal fans.
But boy, the way things are run up there is very, very interesting. $1 million. They gave Andrew $25 million.
Yeah.
That's absurd.
$25 million.
That's a lot of money.
By the way, that's Irsay being
Yeah.
a G though.
Right.
Irsay is. I mean, Irsay walks around with a bunch of money, and everybody questions it. But I've seen him. I think every time I've seen him, he just goes into his little happy bag and just starts handing out hundreds to people. Just $100 bills to people.
We just had to sell Elton John's grand piano, and that would pay for Andrew Luck's contract.
Is Calvin Johnson petty enough, you think, to come back just to
No,
play
he would've
against
done
the
it by
Lions?
I don't know if petty is the right way to describe this. This seems like a business.
Yeah.
I think he's a pretty business savvy guy.
He's got a real axe to grind.
Yeah, like $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million. And they're like, well, you left early. You retired early. It was like, so did Barry Sanders. You remember that?
Yep.
Is it you guys or is it me? Is this? It seems like the X factor in this entire thing would be you. All right, I'll never come back. That's cool with me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And what if the Lions though do turn this around? What if they just give him $1 million?
This is
if
what I think they're
comes
going to do.
back?
And I'm not saying that I think they're going to have a bad start to the season. I would never say that. But what if they start 0-5, bad PR for the whole organization, and then boom, then they pay him? Maybe they're just waiting for that.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, because they've
Maybe they're
never
waiting for
started
that.
0-5 since he's retired. That's never happened yet.
Yeah. It's a sad situation up there in Detroit. It's still getting talked about because he did a Zoom call with the wide receivers. So everybody's like, wait, is he back in good graces? And then Florio was like, no.
I thought he was coming back to the team. I thought he was going to be a wide receiver for us.
Him and Galladay.
Nice little Super Bowl run.
Hey, Stafford
Yeah.
can still sling it. Hour one wrapping up here. Big thanks to Terrence Ross, who joined us from the NBA bubble there a little bit ago. In the second hour, we have head coach at Georgia Tech. Speaking of, Jeff Collins joining us. Can't wait to chat with him. There's a lot happening in the world. We got to talk about Hard Knocks, even though it appears if nobody watched Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks is the LA Rams and the LA Chargers played at the exact same time as the Los Angeles Lakers were playing. That's tough stuff.
Yeah.
Whole second hour on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, August 19th, Fight Week. Woo! Not a bad transition there. I feel pretty good about that. So have we gotten an answer yet whether or not people could hear Terrence Ross when he was talking?
It was cutting out, yeah. So everything that we were hearing on our end was on YouTube as well.
Fuck.
Son of a bitch.
Jason McAfee's made his way down to
Jay.
Orlando. By the way, good to see you, Jay.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Jay.
birthday, Jack.
Happy birthday,
Jay.
Happy birthday, Jay. The rolling good, yeah? Rolling good?
Yeah.
Well, okay, good.
He's getting there.
Jay's got a lion.
I know.
Oh,
Jay's
yeah.
got a pet lion, a pit bull.
On 3 legs right now.
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
Oh.
Something
Yeah,
was
no
going to
good.
get it. Something was going to get it in the backyard. Something was going to get. This son of a bitch, by the way, is big, and
Yeah.
but he is big
Muscular.
and incredibly nice.
I once saw him jump in your wrestling ring, the top rope. It was the most insane thing. That's 10 feet in the air.
Yeah, he. That's hilarious. He's a stud. I'm happy to hear he's okay. Good to see you, Jay. So I didn't hear a lot that he said. Okay, Terrence Ross.
Yes.
I couldn't hear a lot that he said, but it sure feels like the Orlando Magic are a potential team to fucking beat down there.
All season long, they were one of the best defensive teams. Yeah. And it looked like that yesterday because the Bucks struggled immensely on offense. I mean, Giannis got his, but, like, no one else really showed up. So, like, I think – and that's kind of what Portland did with LeBron. Like, let this superstar get theirs. As long as no one else goes off, you're going to give yourself a good chance.
J.R. Smith didn't get a chance to go.
Yeah.
Frank Vogel, good guy. Met him a couple times. Now, granted, he said nothing to me after I introduced the Pelicans starting lineup, and he was, I don't know, 4 or 5 feet away from me. He's focused on the
Come on,
Lakers, I
Frank.
guess,
Interesting.
like. But why won't he play J.R. Smith? This is just like Alvin Gentry. Now, granted, we heard that's the front office. It wasn't really Alvin Gentry, which is kind of a tough go. But I mean, fucking put Swish in the game, dude.
I would guess he'll get some good minutes going forward here. You can't play a guy 30 minutes and have him score 1 point.
Yeah,
it just can't
Green,
happen.
Danny Green, too, is shooting like 20% from the field. He's averaging like 6 points a game. Like, they need to get
This
him
entire
out.
bubble?
Yeah.
J.R. Smith and Deion Waiters will get some more time in this game.
Okay, let's go. If Swish gets back in there, I mean, he's got an electric quarantine. He has had an absolutely electric quarantine. Maybe up there as one of the most electric quarantines. Fauci had a fucking wild quarantine. Started with him being the voice of the entire. Oh no! Started with him being the voice of the entire world. Basically, it ended with him throwing a opening pitch into the dirt into the dugout over there. Wild ride for Fauci.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. We got a guy from Brooklyn here who has a Fauci accent.
Right on the money.
And it is tough. But, I mean, it is right on the money.
Oh, yeah.
It is right on the money. But now, Swish knocked the guy out, protester, which, by the way, I think everybody that was watching the riots happen wanted to do. He knocks said person out. Now he gets picked up by the Lakers because somebody else is out. If he becomes the guy in the bubble that turns the Lakers around, I hope J.R. Smith just rides in the sunset shirtless, having the time of his fucking life.
And he might, because the Lakers probably will pick it up. But no team has been hurt more than a player sitting out. Because Avery Bradley, perfect player for the Lakers for C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. He covers guards. He's a first-team All-NBA defender player. But they're not going to be successful if they don't put in Swish. They need to shoot the three ball. I think it was the worst three-point percentage in a NBA playoff game the Lakers had last night. It was terrible.
Yeah, second, because I saw a little bit of the first half, and Anthony Davis had a swat, and then right down the court on the other side, he took off from like the foul line.
Yeah,
dunk back, and then Braun did one the next series down, and it felt like, oh, they're getting hot right now. And then I passed out, and I woke up this morning, and all I saw was just Dame time all over the group text. I'm like, damn, what happened out there? But I'm very surprised that the referees have allowed the Milwaukee Bucks, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Clippers are down a little bit too, right? And then they get ejected. I'm very surprised that the NBA is calling it right down the middle here early. Right down the middle. Nobody would have thought that, I don't think, on the internet.
Well, I mean, there was one call yesterday where LeBron, he got a blocking foul and one for Hassan Whiteside. They reviewed it, changed the call, so it was in the Lakers' favor. So they are still playing a little bit to the superstars, but they are better.
They got to hate that we are even mentioning that. But we had Tim, what's-his-face on
Donnie.
Donnie.
Yep.
And he got caught doing it. And the way he talks about how easy it was for him to do it, it's like, that's probably not good messaging that the NBA wants to let out there. I'll still watch, by the way. Because the shit that's going on is insane. By the way, went to a Harlem Globetrotters game a couple times. Like, I know what's going to happen.
How was that?
I know what's going to happen. Great skill, a little boring, though. Because what you see on TV, it's much like this show. Kind of cuts out all the bullshit and gives you the filler, or gives you all the excitement. When you're there live, it is all the filler, baby. You are in the middle of that shoot. But I have an assist. I kicked the ball to a guy. He dunked it. Yeah, no big deal. I'm 1-0 as a professional basketball.
Well, that's the thing, too. I mean, we need shooters, and you said Frank is ready.
Yeah,
just give him
Foxy
a call.
too, by the way.
And probably not.
Good morning, beautiful people. Hour 2 kicks off in spectacular fashion. In this hour, we have head coach of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets football team, Jeff Collins. They are in the ACC. He's creating a monster down in Atlanta. There's been a couple campuses that have opened up to students. Students have come onto campus. I assume they paid full tuition for coming on campus. In just 8 days in, 7 days in, 6 days in, they are telling the students to stay at their houses on the campuses for online classes. 149 positive cases in Notre Dame out of 900 tests. Let's assume that universities are going to be what we like to call a haven for this COVID-19. There's a lot of fraternizing. There's a lot of mingling. There's a lot of people on top of each other. There's a lot of living. There's a lot of going on. And you saw the line in Tuscaloosa. You saw the line in North Georgia. College kids are going to college. That's just what's going to happen. And if anything we've learned about said COVID-19 over the last 5 months, which hasn't been much, that seems like it's going to run right through those campuses, and it's proving to do so here early while ripping off the students and their families and putting them in crippling debt for their future with classes that they could be doing at home as opposed to getting paying full tuition and getting out loans that are too big for the jobs that they are currently training to become, and they'll be in debt for the rest of their lives because the universities are a big-ass racket and everybody knows it. But here we are talking about getting them back on campus because it's a good time. All the boys are here at Tone Diggs, Ty Schmidt, Boston Connor, everybody working behind the scenes, obviously for the rest of the company. We appreciate the hell out of you. It feels like college campuses are not even going to make it, 3 weeks into fall?
Nope.
If they're allowing – now, Clemson's not letting anybody back on campus till September 21st. That's in the ACC. So maybe all the other schools, the Notre Dames, the Alabamas, the North Georgias, maybe they'll all be able to share information with all these schools that haven't come back on course. But I'm not 100% sure that's going to happen if we look at the way college football has been talked about here on whether or not it's going to happen. It feels like everybody has their own conversations. But what are they going to do whenever 40% of universities have this COVID-19? Because, by the way, you send them home, they're going into houses that are more packed than houses there at their homes. You're sending them, okay, so I got nothing to do all day. I'm definitely going in the front yard. I got cornhole going. Neighbors probably coming over. That's going to happen. I mean, what are you going to be able to do to stop this on a college campus if they're there? And the answer is nothing, if anything we've learned about this is accurate.
This might actually be good for college football. Mac Brown said this because North Carolina also did the thing where they started classes and now are doing virtual 7 days in or whatever. Because now, if your college football players don't have to go into the classroom and they can do everything virtual and they're responsible, then they said maybe they can create a bubble for themselves.
Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. I mean, this is definitely going to happen. And I think this was Kirk Herbstreit's point. Kirk Herbstreit was like, he's got 2 kids on the Clemson football team that he sent back to campus, in May or something like that. End of May, they went back there. And I was like, do you worry about COVID-19? He's like, I mean, I don't stay up at night thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that's how all college kids are going to think about this too. It's like, hey, how if I understand the college generation is a generation that is very boisterous, and it always has been, by the way, since the beginning of time. College kids have always been very, very proactive in their thoughts and opinions. It's a big deal. And although college kids have been the voices for a lot of things, I feel like you don't hear a lot of college kids coming out and saying, we're worried about COVID-19. No. Because they even reference like the stats and all that. Now, granted, there's the long-term effects that we'll never be able to find out about until we get to long time down the road from now. But is the failure of it on campuses from getting spread everywhere, does that help or hurt college football? If we're not talking about the bubble idea, if the football teams go to the presidents, they're like, look, the entire university has this thing. So obviously our guys are probably going to get it. We would like to be able to still play. Just like these people are all living on campus and doing whatever, we would like to be able to play with it. Or are the presidents, and that's why they're doing the at-home schooling, they're putting in these rules where people aren't allowed to be around each other just to cover their ass for the potential long-term lawsuit that's inevitably going to come to basically every single human that has been around in COVID-19.
Well, it's the same deal, right? Because the presidents are still going to be the ones making the decisions. Like, they're not going to go to the ADs now for this kind of stuff. And I might be wrong, but isn't, like, if you're a freshman, you're living in the dorms.
Yes.
If you're a freshman athlete, you're still living in the dorms. So there's no way you can get around that. I mean, 127, you think all those kids are in the same building? Notre Dame by next week is going to have like 18,000 positives. I mean, it's like
seriously. Oh, let's not even get twisted about the false positives.
Right.
That we've. By the way, more people in the last couple months that are famous have had false positive than have. So like Matt Stafford, for instance, got it, and their entire family was shunned in Detroit, by the way. Matt Stafford's family was shunned in Detroit like Calvin Johnson, Evan Fox. Yeah, like Calvin Johnson. Yep. They were shunned up there because they had a positive. That was a false positive. Then last night on Hard Knocks, we learned Seth Ryan, Rex Ryan's kid, who's an offensive assistant, I believe, for the Chargers. He had a false positive. He had to miss a day and a half of work because they take one expedited test, one normal test. And then Danny Amendola told us about Stafford. It's a presumed negative instead of a false positive, which is, I guess, just like the marketing spin on it. Yeah. But he got sent home immediately as soon as that positive came. He missed a day and a half. Diggs said right before the show an incredibly valid point, which was
like if one of these players get a false positive or presumed negative, however you want to say it, on a Friday or Saturday before the game, like if Stafford gets it on a Friday or Saturday before a Sunday, like that team is screwed for 1 week.
And it wasn't even COVID, by the way.
Yeah,
it was a faulty test that wasn't accurate. So it's like, now, by the way, we're thinking about the wrong things. Thank God he doesn't have COVID-19.
Yes, of course.
Thank God he's safe.
Stafford was not afraid of COVID-19. Let me tell you what. He's been a Lions quarterback for over a decade now. He's seen a lot worse than COVID-19.
Yeah, he's never been protected, so I mean, he's just always
Foxy, you are not allowed to say what you just said.
Probably worried about his wife.
His wife.
You kind of say it.
Yeah, but But obviously, we hope they're healthy. Okay,
Glad they are.
We hope everybody's healthy. If it's a false positive, it means they don't have COVID-19, which I guess alleviates them from the worry that the 10 years down the road thing could happen. Which, are we going to worry about that for the next decade then and not doing it? I mean, that is a very interesting thing. Wuhan back, by the way. I don't think they're worried about that. But when you think about it from a sports-centric mindset, what you just mentioned is a very valid point. And if one team happens to have a couple more false positives than other teams, then there's an entire conspiracy about who's cooking up the false positives. Probably the Patriots is what everybody will say.
Someone comes to New England gets it.
So it's just, I mean, there's a lot to unpack in this thing.
I was thinking earlier this week, as far as for this reason, as far as the gambling angle, you can't. Normally, I put in bets on Tuesday, Wednesday for an NFL Sunday. You can't do that until Sunday morning now. You need to know exactly who is going to be playing on the field this year.
And by the way, I know Tuesday, Wednesday, you get better odds probably with a lot of people. But boy, whenever they start bouncing around the stadiums before the before the games or those pregame shows, now granted, you're going to hear a lot of, he is excited to get on the field today. You're going to hear a lot of that, which, by the way, I could do. Okay, a lot of people. At executive levels, I feel like they think that is potentially harder to do than entertain while speaking. I would like it to be known that I could go up there and be a dry piece of toast if I had to. I could if I had to, which it is. And I understand they got a different demographic and all that stuff. But if you can fight through that stuff where it's just a bunch of – now, granted, you watch Schefter pop up there on there too, or Rappaport pop up on there. You're like, okay, here's a piece of information I need to know.
Turn up.
Then if you see around a stadium, I want to see how they look, guys. I want to see how guys look because I feel like for most of my NFL career, during warm-ups, I'm just sitting on the side, and I feel like I got pretty good at being able to tell who was going to have an okay game and who wasn't going to have an okay game. So those ESPN or NFL networks bouncing around from stadium to stadium, and they'll have a shot on a guy. I'm looking at the screen, trying to see how he's, and then they cut away. I'm like, damn it! If I had another minute and a half,
go back.
I feel like I could see it, and that is a weapon when it comes to gambling. But now you're like, what if Saturday they take the test and they find out Sunday morning that they were positive? Mm-hmm. Then on Saturday, they were in the game plan. They were in the walkthrough. They were in the team meeting the night before. They were in everything. And then Sunday morning, it's like, nope, you're out. What could potentially happen, I want to let you know, this happened to us. That fake punt you saw against the New England Patriots, that's because the guy got sick on Saturday. And we had Griff Whalen, who was our do-it-all, was like, hey, you're going to move into that position because you'll be able to read the playbook quicker than anybody else. Remember anything else. You play 45 positions for us. You're the guy for the job. In the playbook, it said do one thing, but in the conversation, it said do something else. He wasn't in said conversation because the guy got sick on Saturday for Sunday. Yeah. A big miscommunication. Potentially worst play in NFL history. That is what could happen to a lot of teams because of them being out on Saturday and finding out on Sunday, especially if it's at a big position like center. Like if a center gets it, which is very possible, by the way, because their position and where they're at.
Brian Allen.
If a center gets it, exactly, first player to get it was a center in the NFL. Now, granted, they were not doing any drills where he was around any human, so it doesn't really help my point, but it does help my point that a center has already had it. But if the center gets it, he's the one picking out the coverage, like what the blitz packages are, hey, we're shifting right, we're going this way. Now, granted, quarterback obviously helps. There's a lot of communication with the center. What if the center's in the walkthrough on Saturday night where they're going through things, and then Sunday morning it's like, well, no, he's actually out, and also your guard's out. So you got two new you got a center and a guard. They're going to be training everybody, and that's what the guy said on Hard Knocks last night, the wide receiver coach. He was like, this is football in 2020. I have to prepare all of you to be in a game, and probably people that aren't even in this Zoom call, because that's what it's going to be whenever somebody ends up getting this and is out and is out and is out. This is going to be a very different year of football here. And I'm not saying it's going to be tough to watch, which it could be, but I'm assuming the level of football could drop because all you need is a couple key positions go down, and it's worth a lot more than people could imagine.
Well, even coaching too, right? If the head coach or the play or the OC or the DC who's calling plays, do they have to have two or three guys prepared to call a game?
So Andrew Luck's rookie year. Bruce Arians' first year as offense coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts. Nobody in that entire offense knew the offense, right? Nobody. Yeah, they brought in a guy who I guess knew it a little bit, but it was brand new offense, everybody. Andrew Luck was not there for OTAs because he was finishing his architectural engineering degree. Worth it. Smart, by the way. If you had 2 months left, even though you're the number one overall pick, I'm going to go finish this degree that will make me just as much money as I will make in the NFL. So whenever he showed up to OTAs, he knew the entire playbook better than everybody else. right? His first day, he knew more than everybody else who'd been there for 3 weeks because I think he has a photographic memory. So he just kind of does that whole thing. We get through the whole season, though. Andrew Luck breaks all these records. Now takes a lot of massive shots. T.Y. has a massive year. Reggie has a massive year. There's like a big run. We go on a playoff run. We go into Baltimore. Morning up, Bruce Arians ends up in the hospital. Something happened. He got dehydrated or something happened where he thought it was real and he ends up in hospital. So now offensive coordinator Clyde Christensen, QB coach, who has not called plays all year. He's just been coaching Andrew Luck, who's a rookie quarterback, so that is a lot of things. Now all of a sudden he's play caller. He finds out morning of, so he might want to call a game differently than Bruce Arians. Boom, we go Baltimore, which is an incredible defense already. And you basically just go ahead and
it's a wash.
Before that game even started, a lot of us were like, oh my God, we're going to have a massive defensive day. Like this is going to have to be like a 6-3, 10-3 game because of what it was. And it obviously didn't work out, but you're 100% right. A coordinator goes down on Sunday. Coordinator goes down on, how about Wednesday through Friday? Yeah. That's preparation day. That's where install day. I mean, there's a lot. Teams are going to have to juggle here. Going to have to figure it out. Whoever has a good GM, whoever has a good culture, a good building, a relaxed building, a team that can kind of handle adversity, you're going to see a lot of outcome from that.
Oh, the Patriots. Okay.
Well, the coach last night, even when Rex Ryan's kid got sick or had the false positive,
presumed negative, please.
Presumed negative.
Presumed negative.
The wide receiver coach in the room was like, I don't even know if I'm going to be your coach this week because I sit 6 feet from the guy, so I don't even know if I'm going to be allowed here. There may be another position coach for the next few days or something like that.
And by the way, that could go to 10 days if the person has 2 positives.
Yeah.
And that's a week and a half. What is the NFL season? 17 weeks. You get 1 week and a half from one position, 1 week and a half from another position. I mean, woo! And in college football, if they're going to go off, are they going to do the same thing? Because if it's tracing, contact tracing, and who's been around them, I mean, that thing's going to spread just like it did in Notre Dame. It's like, oh, you remember when you went to Lazy Lizard? You remember when you got penny pitchers? Yeah, so the bartender that was serving everybody had it. So there is 75 people that are all locked down for the next 3 days. And then, it's like, damn, okay, what are we going to do here?
So that, like, Whitworth said his nanny or whatever just went to lunch with someone, and then, like, it was just a breakout in that restaurant, and then his whole family got it. Like,
all right, let's get to a break. Positive Wednesday, August 19th here. The PGA said we're going to get positive tests. We just got to move along. The MLB has said we're going to get positive tests. We're just going to move along. Will the NFL be able to do that if key positions go down? It's not going to be able to do with the Marlins. Okay, we'll postpone this game. We'll postpone this game. We'll drop this down to 3/4. We'll do a doubleheader one time. Can't do that with the NFL.
Wow.
I'll be intrigued to see the accountability of everybody in the NFL, not just the players. By the way, everybody's like, well, the players aren't going to be able to stay in. What about the Seth Ryan? I'm not saying Seth Ryan, but there's a lot of offensive assistants at that age that have to run papers and do everything. The scouts, the coaches, you're talking trainers. A lot of people, trainers, equipment managers. You're talking about a lot of people that have to be all in. You're going to really test teams' culture here this year.
Yeah.
So I see who wins out. Some would argue that the Patriots are potentially a culture that could withstand some battles. But also, hey, also Chiefs, let's not get crazy. Everybody else you're going to have to battle.
Yeah.
I feel like they got great cultures as well. And by the way, that's why they're at the top of each league, because they have good cultures. Tennessee Titans, I see Vrabel probably running like a pretty, hey, we're in this together type thing. Ravens, Chiefs for sure, Andy Reid. Niners, I would assume they're going to be all in there because San Francisco, I believe, is locked down anyway, so I don't think it can really go anywhere.
Pete Carroll, Seattle, there's nothing to do up there anyways.
Seattle, there's nothing to do?
Yeah. Bobby Wagner said that, not me, sir.
Oh, you're right. He said the clubs.
Yeah,
because Greg Williams said the old buddy's going to be bored up there in Seattle. Seattle doesn't deserve that.
No.
I believe the entire downtown is shut down right now, but Seattle does not deserve that.
Rains a lot.
Mr. Unlimited. He won't get it because he is Mr. Unlimited. But everybody else could get it around him, and that could be scary. 14 minutes after the hour, we're back on the other side of the Z-Pat Bank Show.
Summer is in full action, and we are thankful for our sponsor today, Manscaped, for keeping us fresh. Sun's out, bum's out, and hopefully your pubes are not out. Manscaped offers all the right tools to keep your hair groomed
Sun's
above.
out, bums out, like
and
Billy?
below. Yeah, apparently.
Okay. Okay.
Manscaped's dedicated to helping you level up your full body grooming game. They actually just released their Shears 2.0 Nail Kit, which is the perfect add-on to their Lawnmower 3.0 Perfect Package.
Nailed it.
The Perfect Package 3.0 kit comes with the essential Lawnmower 3.0 water-resistant cordless body trimmer and a ton of other liquid formulations to round out your manscaping routine. This is the best trimmer on the market for those of you in need of a chest shave or a ball cleanup. This third-generation trimmer features skin-safe technology to reduce manscaping accidents. Get 20% off and free shipping with code PATM at manscaped.com. Do yourself a favor and always use the right tools for the job. Get 20% off and free shipping with code PATM at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code PATM. Summer's here. It's time to manscape.
Nailed it.
Gotta be done.
Fresh off a honeymoon reading. Not easy. I stumbled and bumbled mine rather
Especially
hard.
after I was staring at those lights at Zeke, and then I couldn't see the paper.
Oh, yeah. See, I got LASIK,
some of
so I
these.
can just look right through those.
Oh, that's interesting.
James Franklin, Penn State football's head coach, is currently trending on the internet due to what he just said about the Big Ten season. Penn State's James Franklin on the Big Ten canceling season being reported by Brett McMurphy, Adam Rittenberg, and Adam Rittenberg again. I am extremely frustrated because we still have very few answers to communicate to our young men and their families about their futures and very little understanding of the factors contributing to the decision. Franklin then went on to say, I was not in the room, but I do know when you make a decision of this magnitude that affects so many people on such a significant level, maybe the most important decision in the history of the Big Ten, he says, it wasn't made in ambiguity. It wasn't vague. What does that mean, Ty? It wasn't made.
It wasn't ambiguous, so like they basically just did it without letting anyone know.
Okay, and then he went on to say, do I think things are going to change? I don't think we're going to go back to a fall season. I don't think the petitions and the voices are going to allow us to go back and say, we're going to play this fall. I wish that was the case, but I don't see that happening. He said plenty of other things. It feels like the Big Ten, the rumors around the internet, and our guy Sir Yacht, who has just been out here doing it with his source. It feels like the Big Ten is done. And if you listen to Herb Street speak, it's only a matter of time before the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 are as well. We'll be talking to Jeff Collins, head coach at Georgia Tech, in about 9 minutes. The ACC has said, hey, we are fording the river here. Fording the river. The SEC has said, hey, we're fording the river. The Big 12 said, hey, we're doing this thing. The Big 10 and the Pac-12 very early basically showed worries, and they said they are out completely. Ohio State, Penn State, I guess you can throw it in there, even though they haven't had a lot of wins. They are a massive cult-like following up there with rich tradition. These teams, these big Iowa, obviously,
That's right. Go Hawks,
Iowa,
baby.
Nebraska, Michigan. I mean, we go through every school in Indiana or in Big Ten. But when you talk about football, if the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12 are to play football, this has rippling effects for the long term when it comes to recruiting, when it comes to where players want to go, especially with the television coverage that if there's only 3 conferences playing as opposed to 5 and they don't have to share TV time. Now, this all has to happen while a COVID outbreak is happening on every single college campus, basically. So who knows how that's going to work. And if you listen to Kirk Herbstreit, he's saying it's not going to work. But if they do, I think Penn State's James Franklin understands that his job is going to get much more difficult after this thing. Ryan Day understands that. Scott Frost knows that. Harbaugh knows that. I think everybody in the Big Ten knows that. Haven't heard much from the Pac-12. They've kind of fizzled off in conversation. Yes. And Herbstreit says it's because that they got to see the medical presentation. It sounds like the Big Ten did not. The coaches did not. The athletic directors did not. And they're still very confused about it all. But long term, this could be a problem for the Penn States, the Ohio States, the Michigans. Whenever Nick Saban, Coach O, even if it's a school that's up and coming, like Georgia Tech goes in there in the ACC, and they're like, hey, we got a school called Pitt in the ACC. They're in Pennsylvania. You know who didn't play? Penn State. That's because the ACC likes football more than Big Ten. Like there's rippling effects long term. Obviously, we want everybody to be safe. Have to preface
Healthy.
that so I don't get absolutely slaughtered by the everybody should lock it down, no sports community. We understand that. I'm talking strictly from a sports side of this thing. This is going to have long-term rippling effects.
Is it officially dead? Because I still see that like there's a proposal for the 6 remaining teams who said they want to play each other. But from the sounds of it, like if it's not on Big Ten Network, like the Big Ten isn't going to let them do that. That's not going to happen unless it's the whole conference. There's no way that they're going to let them play football this year.
Street started shaking his head no, or laughing. I forget what he was doing. He's laughing or shaking his head no. As soon as I even broached the subject of a couple teams playing, whether it was with another conference or just playing it all, he basically said no. And I would assume Herb Street is in, but those conversations could be changing and being very fluid daily. I mean, if Iowa, who allegedly in the first vote voted yes, it was 12-2.
Yep.
If they allegedly voted yes in that first one, I assume they're still voting yes. And if their AD, their president is the one who voted yes, if their coach is like, yeah, we want to do this in Nebraska, everybody's there like, yeah, we want to do this. I mean, how are they going to? I guess they're going to say we'll kick you out of the Big Ten if you do that, and then they're like, okay, so what are you going to do? You're going to kick 6 of us out of here? I don't know how. I don't know how the Big Ten stops them, but everybody's saying they would be able to stop them because lawyers and money and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, but there's a lot more money to be made, I think, if you go.
And don't they want some sort of revenue? Like if if they cancel it, they're going to lose all that and just do like the replays and whatever they have in the library. But if they do this new stuff, like wouldn't you at least want some revenue to split around the remainder of the schools?
No, but hey, it's not about revenue. Remember. This is about health.
Students. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Students.
That's right. It's a good point.
Students.
It's a good point.
Ty, what a selfish scumbag you are.
It's not about money.
I forget, I forget sometimes.
Students.
It's all right. About a minute and a half before that, I said there's probably a lot more money to be made.
Well, and the immediate, of course, is college football. You got to worry about that. But if they're not playing football all fall, March Madness is probably also still dead.
They lost. We came across the bottom line today. They lost $375 million by not having March Madness.
I saw that $375 million just for 1 year's March Madness. By the way, can't pay the players, but $375 million 1 year March Madness, and that doesn't even account for the local communities, right?
Yeah.
Watch parties, celebrations. Indianapolis, whenever they host the Final Fours, it is the city of Indianapolis is just massive
this year.
Yeah, it's supposed to. Oh, coming up.
Yeah,
we got the Final Four that's coming up.
I believe so.
Well, it was supposed to be right in
this upcoming
2021.
Yeah,
I think we had the women.
I
think we had the women's Final Four last year. Potentially, it got canceled.
That's right.
So we have the upcoming men's Final Four. Indianapolis, by the way, perfect city for it. If you want to come to a Final Four, Indianapolis is the right city to do it. The weather will be nice. You'll be able to walk around everywhere. You're in and out. But who knows? In March.
Yeah.
How many months is that from now?
It's this year.
Is that 7 months from now?
Yeah. In the All-Star game in 20
All-Star game's here this year.
As well. That's been moved.
Bro, we have no what?
Yeah, so I believe the NBA they reserve hotels or whatever. Those reservations are gone. They don't have them anymore.
Okay.
So I believe it's going to be moved.
Did the internet tell you that, or who told you that?
I believe I read that in an article online somewhere.
Okay,
so the internet told me.
The internet told you, but is it real or not? Was it real or not? We don't know.
I am going to say it's real, just because I try not to bring things that aren't sourced at least twice around here, because I know the rules of the league here. But we'll see.
I did see the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wish TV reported it.
Okay, and they're in all Indy all the time because they lost their CBS affiliate. Which, if you ever want to see anything popping off in Indy, like when those protests and riots were happening, Wish was actually the place to go to. So they are pretty plugged in the city. So if they're reporting it, okay, so the All-Star game is no longer in Indianapolis. The Final Four probably not going to be in Indianapolis. So they taped that $375 million they think they lost, but it doesn't account for the amount of money that is also lost to the cities that are hosting these things. This is just Indy. This is happening anywhere else.
Yeah.
College towns, whenever teams are playing and winning, I mean, things go ape. I mean, places go crazy. I mean, it is but it's not about that.
No, not at all.
No.
Students.
It's not about that. It's about students. Now, granted, that one thing that we're just talking about kind of keeps everything going.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, brings a lot of things down. And it's normally the focal point of most conversations that happen in the world, whether people like it or not. And that is why I am so freaked out by this all, because all the money has just not even been worried about. $375 million, see you later. NBA season, see you later. College football, it's going to be probably hit colleges for a long haul. They'll probably up the prices of their terrible education that is not going to get anybody a job that's going to make them be able to pay back the money that they're paying. They'll probably up the price for that. But there's going to be a lot of things that have fallen for this. And the money has not really been something that has stopped anybody. And that is, to be honest, that is crazy to think about, actually.
Yeah. The average was $78 million for a Power 5 school and what they would lose if they didn't play football. $78 million. The average. That's so much money.
That's so much money because everybody's getting $52 million from the Big Ten network. I would assume that the SEC network's giving out a handsome amount of money every single year. The ACC network, I assume they're handing out a handsome amount. I mean, that is the model. What is going to happen after this? Has anybody talked about it? No. We are a minute and a half out from Jeff Collins joining us, I do believe. It is a Zoom call. So who knows if we'll be able to match up his words with his face, because Zoom is awesome, a great way to connect with people. But one of its downfalls is the glitchy foreign film look.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where somebody's speaking and then you don't really know. I think we go to a break and then we come back on the other side with Jeff Collins, head coach of Georgia Tech football squad in the ACC. They are planning on playing.
Hell yeah.
They are planning on playing. And by the way, he is building a monster down there. Name, image, likeness is going to help out Georgia Tech. 3 years from now, look at. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Jeff will be joining us on the other side. Can't wait to chat with him and continue the conversation about college football, sports. You get it. This is the Pat McAfee Show. How's it going? My name is Pat McAfee. I do a lot of things. Today I am a professional analyst getting ready for the Thursday night football opener in beautiful Nippert Stadium with the Cincinnati Bearcats here at Higher Ground. This secluded world. Good squad, good place. Excited for this morning practice. I'm obviously unbiased, but I'm pulling hard for Cincinnati to do well on Thursday night.
I like to say, all in clipboard quarterback. Kicker. Let's see what you got. Come on.
This is great for the brand. This guy's an athlete. Athlete. Hey, let's go.
Let's go.
Hey, goodness.
They say kickers are athletes. We'll find out. Let's go. Pull it up. Heads up. Heads up.
Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the hospitality. Have a great day. Let's go get it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. What you just saw right there was Cincinnati's training camp, which is a Remember the Titans style out in the middle of nowhere, Indiana. I was invited out there last year because I was calling the Cincinnati UCLA game. Got some good insight, got to learn the team a little bit, called the game. Couldn't remember anybody's name, but I had a blast doing it. Last year, I also got a chance to call a game for the man that is the coach of Georgia Tech. Got a chance to chat with him for like an hour and a half the day before the game and listen to everything that's going on at Georgia Tech. The turnaround from being a triple option to a pro-style offense in the ACC, bringing in all of Atlanta. The man that was tasked with that, the head coach of the Georgia Tech football squad. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Collins.
Yeah! Boy, Jeff!
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Hey,
I try to do it for the brand, baby.
I like the sleeveless. You look amazing.
Yeah.
Right now, incredibly crazy times. You've been a coach for a long time. Obviously, we're in the middle of a very different world right now. The conversation about college football is obviously a lot of question marks. How have you been keeping all that distraction out of your locker room? How have you been keeping that out of your mission? What has it been like talking to your team with the time that we're in right now?
Yeah, well, I don't think you keep it out of it. I think we talk about it every single day, over and over and over, different ways, different layers, different messaging, different groups, team meetings, Zoom meetings, position meetings, our cohorts that we are divided up into, the coaches that run that, keeping that conversation alive. And our guys have done a great job with it. Our coaching staff has done an amazing job with it. And just keeping that going, keeping the narrative, understanding the situation that we're in, the protocols that our medical professionals and our health staff has put together for us, and the guys have done a great job with it.
Okay, whenever I talk to your players, they love the environment that you built down there. Absolutely loved it. I mean, every single player to a man was like, hey, whenever coach got here, this entire building changed. Music blasting throughout the entire place. I mean, it's just like they feel like they come in there and have a good time. I assume some of that has to change now, right? Because there's groups that come in. Have you been able to keep up with your culture that you're trying to build while having to maintain with all these medical guidelines?
Well, I think the biggest part of the culture is the love, trust, and the relationships. That piece is never going to change. Those have even gotten stronger, even when we were away from each other. The relationship piece, the communication piece, that's even gotten stronger. Now, a typical Georgia Tech practice is completely different now. We're usually 2 spots, and there's 60 guys going at once, and there's mayhem and chaos and music and all kinds of insanity. We're not doing that now. We've got safety loops painted all over the sidelines. There's like 220 safety loops painted 6 feet apart. And if they're not in a safety loop, that's when the chaos ensues, because we got to keep these guys apart while we're doing the practices, while we're doing our work. The music, because we're having to train them how a game is going to work. Typically, you just play music all the time because in between the plays, there's going to be crowd noise. Now we're doing it exactly how we'll do it during games where when the play ends, we crank the music up. Then right when the quarterback gets his hands ready, we kill the music and it's dead silence until the play's over. So we're training our guys how a game day environment's going to be in this day and time.
Yeah, because you got to keep them hyped, because music does a big music not only helps people deal with sound and things like that, it's also a little boost of energy whenever some heater comes on, a throwback heater comes on. It's like a lift to the entire team, but it's going to probably be pretty empty stadiums that you're playing in, so it's like a kind of a fine balance there. Let's talk about what you're hearing about the season, though, Coach, shall we? Because we are all hearing the conversations that are happening everywhere. Coaches in the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are obviously up in arms because they weren't able to talk or say anything, but their medical experts are making decisions. Down there in the ACC, have you just been focusing on football and you let the athletic director and everybody else figure it out, or have you been a part of those conversations as well?
Well, the conversations are had. We've met as an SEC head coaches group every single week since the start of the pandemic and the quarantining. So there's constant communication. Our athletic director, Todd Stansberry, does a great job, the communication piece. I literally talked to him right after I got off the practice field today, walking back over here, so that there is constant communication. And just the big thing with us, and one of the core philosophies in our program, is control what we can control. So every day I come in, what's the situation that we're allowed to function in? What are the best health and safety practices? What are the protocols? What can we improve on? That is the daily focus. If they're allowing us to progress, then we're going to progress safely, healthy, and make sure our guys are following the proper protocol so we do this thing the right way. And then back to music, Pat, real quick. So we have Techno Tuesdays. Like that. So Techno Tuesdays. And then we have ATL Wednesdays.
Okay.
And that's what we had today. It's every single artist has to be from the ATL, from the 404, and we keep that rolling on Wednesdays. Thursdays, I won't get into that. It's really good music. And then Fridays, we play a little soul, some blues. That's our Friday playlist. And then game day, put the ball down, and it is on.
Hey, you guys got White Boy Thursday. That's awesome. That's what I just heard. Okay, no big deal. You don't have to say it. I'll say it. The team down there with you guys, you're a young team. You were a young team last year because you were transitioning out of the triple option. You're into the pro style, which, by the way, not an easy thing to do in college football because you have to change every position. I think your biggest offensive lineman was like 260 or something because in triple option they got to move. D linemen were tiny. You were basically tasked with overhauling that entire thing to become a more explosive, exciting offense and recruit everything. And you're going to rely on a lot of patience from the athletic director to be like, hey, once I get my guys in there, how do you feel about your young group? How do you feel about the squad that you have? And does it feel like, hey, Georgia Tech, we're getting to a place where you're pretty excited about it?
Yeah, I'm excited every day I come to work with these guys. The culture is really, really good. I think there's some stat that we've got the most returning production in the country, and that goes back that we had to play a lot of young guys yet last year. They did a really good job. The leadership piece, the culture piece, the foundation piece is really good. We signed one of the top 2 recruiting classes in Georgia Tech football history. Ooh. The defensive line that we signed goes 6'6", 6'6", 6'5", 6'4.5". Our offensive line that we signed goes 6'7", 6'6", 6'6", 6'5", 6'4". We've gained on average 18 pounds per man across the offensive line. We've gained 17 pounds per man across the defensive line. Those kind of things are huge in the development, but the attitude, the mindset, the work ethic, even though we have a ton of fun, and you've been around us, we work really, really, really hard. And they give great effort. We're a culture built on effort, and the guys understand when we get out on that field, we're going 1,000 miles an hour. We're going to do it safely. We're going to follow protocols. Once we're done, we're going to recover, we're going to regen, and then we're going to handle ourselves the right way in the community at one of the top 4 academic schools in the country.
I love that you have a group that work hard and play hard, right? And last year I got a chance to see the team put on. I mean, it was a great game. And maybe I should call every game that you guys have down there. But what I would agree with that. But I learned that all of Atlanta's buying in on Georgia Tech. And Atlanta is one of, obviously, the most influential cities in the country for everything. Anytime Atlanta gets involved, everybody knows, like, hey, big voices are being talked about here. Atlanta's buying into Georgia Tech. Now, everybody knows it's normally a Bulldog state, but you got Waffle House down there. You got Coke down there. Yep, there's a cup, Waffle House cup. You got it. You got Turner down there. You got a lot of companies that are based down there. In this name, image, likeness thing that's coming to fruition, Atlanta is obviously already popular city. Plus, you have a lot of companies that want Atlanta's Georgia Tech to do well. And I've been talking about this for a couple months after talking to you. I was like, hey, what they got going on in Georgia Tech and the setup in Georgia Tech with his name, image, likeness, and the offense that they're doing and the recruiting ability and knowledge that Jeff Collins has, Georgia Tech's going to be a monster in a few years. And that is basically what you told us. Can you break that down a little bit on why people have called me an idiot when I said, I'm like, no, I believe it 1,000%. I really do.
And so do I. I've had a dream. I've had a vision of what this place can be, what this place is supposed to be. Pat, you sat in my office right here. When you literally look right outside the office, that was a nice little flex right there, Pat. I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, good flex.
Right outside the office, the world headquarters of Coca-Cola is literally right there. And then you've got AT&T, you've got Georgia Pacific, you've got Southern Company, you've got Accenture, you've got all of these companies. Chick-fil-A is right here in our backyard. The internship piece is huge for our guys. The amount of guys that do internships in the off season, the amount of guys that did internships during a global pandemic when all of us were quarantined, they were still able to do their internships. Those kind of things add real value to what we're able to sell and the guys that we're able to attract. The education piece, the academic piece is unparalleled in major college football. And then you also embody the culture that is Atlanta, that is our locker room. I mean, there were more movies filmed in the state of Georgia than in Hollywood last year. So the entertainment piece, the music piece, all of those things intertwine at a junction that's right here in downtown Atlanta. We embrace it. We take pride in it. And we coach our guys. We love our guys. And we're going to maximize every single thing that they can do for their exposure, for their brand, for their life after football. All of those things are rolled up into one, and that's the reason why Georgia Tech is going to be back to the top of college football where we belong.
Hey, you're a Georgia boy, aren't you?
I am. I'm born 8 miles east of here.
So this is a big, like you can feel the passion because I assume whenever you're coaching at other places, you're looking at Georgia Tech, which is your hometown basically, and you're like, that school should be. Then you get the gig, and now you're getting a chance to experience it. That has to be pretty cool. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to happen.
Yeah, 100%. I still remember being a young guy. They used to play a Georgia Tech versus a school that's 72 miles outside of Atlanta that we play. That's our in-state rival. That game used to be played right here on Thanksgiving Day, the JV game, and I would sit right up in those stands and watch the game. Then we would go home to my grandma's house, have Thanksgiving dinner. We'd play the Turkey Bowl, and I'd win it, a little plaque with a little wishbone on it, and just dream of what this place can be, what this place should be, what this place will be, and I take a lot of pride in it.
Hell yeah.
I tell you, I talk. Didn't I?
Oh, yeah. You said it.
I say, hey, man, this guy has a real passion for the school. He understands the weapons it has, and he is an incredible recruiter. I mean, at Temple, have you seen the athletes that come out of Temple here lately? He was there with Matt Rule, with everybody up there. Diggs, what do you got?
Coach, you were just talking about that school that's also in Georgia, and I was looking at your schedule, and I believe every ACC team is playing their conference schedule and then one non-conference. And I saw yours is UCF. So how did you guys decide, or how was it decided that UCF was going to be your non-conference game versus a school like the other school in Georgia, and how did that go?
Well, I think that was a decision made outside of our conference, so we didn't have any control over that. The 10+1, I believe, was set so that those games could be played. For whatever reason, they were deemed they weren't going to play those. So then we look at our schedule, and competition is king in our program. We want to compete, and UCF has had a great run. I've coached there in the past with Coach O'Leary, who just got inducted into the Georgia Tech Hall of Fame. But UCF, really good team, have done really well. We want to make sure we're playing the best teams that we can possibly play. And so our athletic director, our administration, was able to keep that game on our schedule. Great players, great coaches, and then along with the other 10 games that we'll play in the ACC, we're really excited about it. Our guys are fired up to compete, and we just got to continue to follow the protocols, take it phase by phase, step by step, do it the right way to give us a chance.
How the hell is that going to happen? Hey, Coach, let's have a real-life conversation about college kids, because the pictures have hit the internet from Tuscaloosa, from North Georgia. You're hearing in Notre Dame 149 positive cases. They're locking kids back into their houses, doing online tuition. I believe North Carolina's doing the same. Mac Brown actually came out and said, well, if everybody's going to be inside, that's actually good for us because we can keep the bubble thing. How are you setting forth hey, we need to be very accountable here. We need to be very loyal to each other here, because it's not just the players, by the way. It's GAs, it's athletic trainers, it's equipment managers. It's that entire building buying in. How is that going to happen? Because a lot of people are like, college football can happen, but if you look at campuses in general, it doesn't look like that's going to be a positive experience. How does the football team do it? How is it going to work?
Yeah, and the guys have done a great job so far just controlling what we can control, using the messaging, using lessons learned from other places to make sure our guys understand what we have to do when we get out into the classroom setting, whether it be in setting, a hybrid, or in virtual world. When we're out on campus, how we have to maintain our bubble, our personal bubble, protect our team's bubble, and then also the marketing piece, making sure that we're out there on social media, talking about wearing a mask, talk about maintaining social distance. If you came out to the plaza, I don't know if you remember, Pat, there's a huge jumbotron outside of our stadium, and it faces down the Yellow Jacket Alley where some of the fraternities and sororities are. We had them put up however big that thing is, billboard of me wearing a mask, saying, wear your mask at Coach Collins. If you drive down 75, 85, there's a huge Georgia Tech digital billboard. Again, it's my face up there, covered up. And maybe the mask has been good for me because I get to cover this thing up. It's out there. So the messaging, so whenever the young people, the students that are on campus, at least they're seeing the message as well. Wear a mask. Our president, Dr. Cabrera, has set up places where they can get PPEs all over campus. They can get testing all over campus. So those steps are being implemented, and it's going to take all of us to be able to have success with this. It's going to take a collective, and, hopefully we can use our influence for the greater good, for our campus, for our community, and even for the city.
It'll be awesome if it happens, man. I cannot wait to watch. I am happy that you joined us. I love talking to you the day before the game. I've enjoyed talking to you today. You're electric. Can't wait to see what you do with Georgia Tech, and can't wait to see how these guidelines, protocols are implemented throughout this entire semester so we can have football season. It's going to be tough, but I'm excited to see you guys pull it off. I appreciate you, Coach.
Thanks, guys. And the sun's out, the guns are out. Let's go.
Hell yeah. Have it, Coach. Good luck down there. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of Georgia Tech, Jeff Collins. Thank you.
Yeah, Jeff. Woo!
He seems very positive that football is going to happen.
Yeah.
And that guy is a guy that's in conversation every single day, he said, with the ACC. Now, granted, whatever happens on campus is definitely going to dictate what happens in the football world, but I told you, by the way, Hey,
Yeah.
the passion that he had
Chills during
for Atlanta was so real when he was talking to us. And normally those conversations, I would assume, don't go long. And I don't know. I would never know that because every time I talk to a coach, it's like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's like a full conversation. Mostly because I hadn't had a chance to really watch any of their films, so I know nothing about it. But also because I think with me, Matt, Molly, Adam, and our crew, I think coaches were like pretty comfortable, and we were just having like real conversations with
opening
them.
up.
And when I talked to him, I'm like, oh, this guy loves Georgia. I think we got to get to. We're in the middle of a break for sure on radio. Have to be. We don't have any more breaks. No, because we came out of a break with Jeff Collins.
Yep, that's right.
Smart.
But what we do need to do is a segment on this show that is a crowd pleaser. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the Don. He is a man who has a chain around his neck that is worth more than a lot of things in this house, which this house has a lot of things that are worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, a reading by Zito.
Thank you, Pat. Here's the thing about home security companies. Most trapped with high prices, tricky contracts, and lousy customer support. Lousy. So while there's a lot of options out there,
James.
there's only one no-brainer. Lousy. SimpliSafe got everything you need to protect your home with none of the drawbacks of traditional home securities. It's got an arsenal of sensors and cameras to blanket every room, window, and door, tailored specifically for your home. Professional monitoring keeps watch day and night, ready to send police, fire, or medical professionals if there's an emergency.
Day and night.
All that starts at $15 a month. I'm not the only one who thinks SimpliSafe is great. U.S. News and World Report named it the best overall home security of 2020. No big deal.
Gold medal.
I'm going to call to action real quick.
Please do.
Try SimpliSafe today at simplisafe.com/pet. You get free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. There's nothing to lose. That's simplisafe.com/pet.
Welcome back to the show. Incredible read there by Zito.
Thank you.
We just lost a light, I do believe, could change some things. That's because Zito is so electric with that chain on. We are a live show, and sometimes we're the only show that people watch throughout their day, so we have to tell them things that are happening in the world so they don't sound like an idiot. To do that, our friend, Mr. With the News, Nick.
Thank you, Pat. There's no chance I'm going to be able to repeat what you just said.
Bingo.
But I do have some news here for you. A resident of South Lake Tahoe, California, has tested positive for the plague.
Yeah, this is 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, the plague is back. The murder hornets kind of came and went. Who knows what happened to them?
They actually found one the other day.
Yep, see, so they're back. COVID-19 still happening. I mean, Wuhan back. Wuhan back. Everybody's screaming that Wuhan back. So who knows what's going to happen? It feels like this is just what we got to live in now, a complete simulation. Anything else happening?
Is there a
in the
cure
world?
for the bubonic plague?
Yeah, you stop eating rats.
See that?
That's why he's valedictorian.
Yep. Ebola had a cure too there for a bit.
True.
Did they?
Yeah, just don't go to that particular part of the continent over there. Yeah, but people are still going. By the way, they were trying to save the world over there, but
find out.
then they were put in Breaking Bad meth cooking suits on the way back and locked in a room as if they were COVID-19 patients, which is also happening in 2020. So that's good. We got the Black Plague and COVID-19. Great day.
Ebola probably next week.
Yeah, great day. Come on, make a comeback, Ebola. What else do we got, Nick?
Billionaire Elon Musk SpaceX has raised $1.9 billion in new funding. After an evaluation, they are estimated to be worth $46 billion.
So just like Bitcoin and just like plenty of other opportunities that were presented to me early, I actually was told that this was happening. There was another round of funding. And I was asked if I potentially wanted to put any money in.
Yeah.
Okay. I said yes, by the way. I said absolutely. Would love to put it on the alien building things to go travel back to his hometown. He's going to be doing that for the rest of his life. They said, sounds good. Never got a call back.
Oh, my God.
So I wanted to get into old Patty space investments, but I was kind of cucked out of the entire situation.
Might be on Mars right now.
No, I don't want to be on Mars. It is take my money and just
with your money,
do
though,
everything.
Name
and
rocket off.
You know how they put like your names on bricks outside of places sometimes?
I
You
want a
probably
rock.
have a brick on Mars.
I want a rock.
Or a rock.
Or a bench.
And also, I would like to initiate whatever money you take from me. I would like half a dig into because I assume that's how much it will cost, however much I give them, probably $10 million to or $5 million to dig a hole into Mars, because I think people are living inside of there.
Yeah.
Aliens are living inside of there. And let's also check the moon, because I think people are living inside of there as well. This is Wednesday, August 19th. Thanks for that, Nick. Thanks to head coach Jeff Collins. Big thanks in the first hour to our guy Terrence Ross, even though we couldn't hear some of the things he's saying. And big thanks to all of you for listening and watching wherever the hell you may be. This is Fight Week. In 3 days, I am fighting tonight. I'm on WWE NXT. I'm walking back into the arena that I was booted from. Cannot wait to see how that goes. I'm not going alone, obviously. Tomorrow we got another big show for you. Can't wait for you to listen and watch. And you are the best humans on earth. At noon, we will have Mark Henry at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. This has been that show. No clue why you listen, but thankful that you do. All right, we're going to stay live here until Mark Henry comes on. AJ literally can't join us because he's on a flight down here for tonight because he wants to show up. What are you going to say, Diggs?
In this middle interior period,
I have to go to the bathroom, though, so that's what I'm trying to figure out here. I just hold it. I'm just going to have to sit here and hold it.
You sure?
Can we run a video package or something? We have Mark Henry joining us on the other side. I mean, I go to commercials anyway, so this wouldn't be out of the
No, this would be like a YouTube one.
And I don't think you have went to the bathroom yet during the show.
So this is a little bit problematic.
You're overdue.
Everybody's seen what I've been doing over here to things. I'm trying to stay as hydrated as possible because, by the way, Fight Week.
Fight week, baby.
Fight
Fight
week is
week. Here we go.
a big deal.
Stay
You
hydrated.
have to stay hydrated. Body feels good, by the way. We'd like to let everybody
How
know.
the legs?
Body feels good.
I got a package if you want it.
You do have it?
Yep.
That sounded pretty creepy. Just want to let you know that.
Sorry.
And I just want to let you know that that particular drop in there
I got
was.
a package if you want it.
Will you cut to you at least whenever you're saying that? I mean,
Sure.
that is.
I got a package if you want it.
Oh, okay, thank you. Is that Zeet back there with you?
Yeah, Zeet's back here figuring it out.
Oh, Zeet.
Billy left. No one knows where Billy's at.
Oh, you know where he's at. Okay.
What's Billy
We're
doing
not
right
talking
now?
about it.
What's
We're not
Billy
talking
doing?
about it.
Where
I
is
do
he?
not want to talk about that right now.
Are his pants in there?
Okay, let's run the package. I'll run to the bathroom. Mark Henry will be joining us on the other side of this thing to hopefully give me some tips on what I should do this weekend. Also talk about being the world's strongest man while being an incredible Hall of Fame professional wrestler and also a great radio host with Busted Open over there on Sirius XM. Can't wait to talk to the man, Mark Henry, on the other side. I'm going to go take a leak for sure. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
He's saying don't go off the top, it's too shallow.
All you're going to hear this stadium do is they put the big paw up, they start shaking it, they go, whoa. Hey, what things are going good, Yeah, he loves the defensive side of the ball. He said yesterday to me that this is a blue-collar team. They win it on special teams. They have 5 block kicks this season. The defensive side of the ball, Lynch leads the Big 12 in sacks. But also on the offensive side, Denzel Mims is an absolute animal. He is a weapon. Charlie Brewer, the quarterback from Lake Travis. His dad was a quarterback in Texas. Yeah. His grandpa was a quarterback in Texas. And the people here in Waco just so happen to get a chance to see Charlie Brewer on a daily basis. Hey. Yeah, boomer here is going to mean a little bit different than what it means on the internet currently. And hopefully here in Baylor, they hope they're not hearing a lot of boomer sooner. Everybody wants to be a punter, including quarterbacks. If I was a quarterback, I'd want to be a punter as well. 0 yards on that punt. It's an embarrassing situation. The Dak dance that gets on national television has led to a lot of losses, but you got to respect the hips being able to. What sign am I going to make for college game day? Well, I want to make something creative. I want to make something fun. No, to hell with it. I don't like OU. It's so thick. Look how thick that thing is. That's years and years of patience. You're heading right for the boat. Right now? Okay, let's do it. And we are out here on the Brazos River, which you can take a boat to the game. One of the only stadiums in the country that you can do that. It's beautiful out here. A lot of people would say, this is the last time I'm going to be on game day. The last time I allegedly did what I'm about to do, I ended up in a jail cell. Let's go! Bad decision. The blue kickers get us right down here.
a lot higher than I thought.
You look like Ric Flair. That was a sellout, by the way. That was beautiful.
Maybe other shirts? Yeah, hold on.
You need to go get changed before you get sick. Great work, Russia.
I'm actually not that cold. Hey, I went for it. My chest hurts. It was like 5 feet. I'm standing there. That's full commitment, by the way.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. August 19th, 2020. 3 days away from me stepping into a WWE ring for the first time when I attempt to boot Adam Cole's face off of his head into the moon in a 10-second match. A man who knows how I feel. He was once an outsider to the WWE. Then he became a dominant force in the WWE. Hall of Famer, world's strongest man, host of Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM. Ladies and gentlemen, Sexual Chocolate, Mark Henry.
Yeah!
Come on, man! Woo! What's going on, man?
You know what, man? I'm just checking you out. I'm looking at this. I forgot that you jumped off into that little dirty pond.
It was a river. It was a river, and there was not even a single thought of potentially getting impaled by a log down there. Not even a thought, Mark. Can you not hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh,
jamming?
no.
Uh-oh, did we lose Mark Henry?
Oh, no. Did we lose Mark Henry? Hey, by the way, incredible dance moves right
Yeah,
now.
you see that?
Did he not just hit that? I mean, he hit that thing. Can you hear me, Mark?
I can hear you great. I'm just looking at chairs and I don't know what I'm looking at.
No.
Is this a theater?
No, we're currently in the middle of he's in the theater right now. He's on the computer. Okay, so I am in another room. You look fantastic.
Yeah.
You look fantastic to me right now. Their dance moves were fantastic. We're in a drug lord's house basically down here in Orlando, and we're currently running it out for fight week because, got to get ready for this Saturday.
yeah.
Had to get locked in. We're going full keto, no carbs in here, trying to get attractive as if I'm Mark Henry doing the show.
There he is.
Can you see me?
I got you.
Oh, man. That would have been so awkward if I was just talking to an empty theater. Had Billy Buttcheeks and Evan Fox in there. This Saturday, I'm stepping into a ring for the first time, Mark, okay? And I'm an outsider. Wrestling fans hate me. What would be your tip to me for my mindset going into this weekend?
Well, you got to own who you are. Like, you can't rely on what the fans always think because the fans, it's all based off emotion. And you've already put them on an emotional roller coaster. You've disrespected their favorite guy. So it is what it is. You can't worry about them. You got to do you.
Whenever you got into wrestling, you were the world's strongest man. Okay, documented. In watching the thing that should be talked about more is the documentaries that are on WWE Network. Watching your backstory, though, was so cool. It was so awesome watching you lift every weight on earth, and then you get into wrestling, and then there's some moments of you in the locker room, and then obviously you go on to take over. Whenever you got into wrestling, did you have that feeling of this is where I was supposed to be all along? Or did you feel as if, like maybe World's Strongest Man is what I was supposed to be forever?
I was a fan. I was a super fan. So that was kind of my whole motivation for being there. But unfortunately, during that time, pro wrestling wasn't as giving and sharing as it is now. Everybody was resentful of me being there. Everybody felt disrespected. People felt like you don't belong here. I had people blatantly tell me, it ain't no way you should get the money you get. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've never even scratched the signing bonus. And I was mad that they even posted how much I got paid.
Yeah,
it's like I didn't tell him. You know, it's like that was the bad time, man. Like that first 3 years sucked because just like you and your reaction, you're a sharp guy as well as a physically imposing guy. You said a punter. A punter? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you're just a little guy, you know, and you went into your thing. It was different for me because I grew up fighting. I did karate. I boxed. I grew up in a neighborhood where if you didn't fend for yourself, you got your ass killed or kicked or killed. So for me, I was just like, well, let's go outside. If you want it that bad, you want my money, come beat me and I'll give it to you.
Oh, that's awesome. That is
so
awesome.
I was a bit of an asshole.
Well.
And, but I was the good guy on TV. Red, white, and blue, America's guy. But in the locker room, I was like, man, I hate your guts, man. Like, you look at me funny, I'm looking at you funny. What you want to do? And it was not the best course of action because I was giving my body in the ring to people that I didn't think cared about my body.
Okay.
So you and Adam Cole are going to tie it off, and there's a lack of respect there, I think, on both sides. Yeah. You know, I can't completely say my man Pat, which, you know, we were right away fast friends. Bam.
Bang.
But as much as I see negatives on his side, which I think sensitivity to his size is an issue, but also you could have been the bigger man.
Well,
and you said, no, I'm Pat McAfee. You're not going to just talk to me any kind of way. and I respect that.
Yeah.
You know, don't let nobody push your buttons. But I'm just saying, from a business standpoint, I just saw you being the bigger man and saying, look, Adam, you can say whatever you want. I don't agree, but
I could have.
It is what it is.
I could have definitely done that in the neighborhood you're from. You know, you could have got your ass kicked or killed. In my neighborhood, if I would have just let that guy do that to me, I mean, I'm going to get bitched around by everybody. You know, and I got a lot of text messages, by the way, that were mad at me. Friends, former teammates, former coaches, they were mad at me for not snapping him in half in the studio. So they actually, by the way, thought I was rather professional throughout the entire thing, which after watching it back, I was not. Okay, I am blaming that, but I do not take back anything I say. That's why I'm excited for Saturday in the way this thing has gone. Let's talk about the wrestling road. You're a part of a show, Busted Open, that is one of the main mouthpieces of an entire business right now. Did you know you were going to get into this? Is this just something that kind of fell into place? I love that show. I listen to it later because we're on at the same time. I'm a big fan of you, Bully, LaGreca, the whole squad over there. Tommy, I'm a big fan. Gabby, I'm a big fan of everybody over there. Did you know you were going to be good at that whenever you were retiring from wrestling?
You know what? I was a communications major, and I always wanted to do radio. I thought that in college I was going to be DJ Mark Henry doing the Quiet Storm late night. But when I met Dave LaGreca in 2003, I had already started in my mind saying, you know, once I get done, I want to do radio. And he was doing, you know, like 2-hour shows at midnight talking wrestling, and I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And I was like, I want to do that. And it was at the WrestleMania in Houston. I can't tell you what year it was. I met him in the lobby, and he said, Mark, like, when I have conversation with you about wrestling, I learn stuff. He was like, you really should pursue it. And a lot of me being in radio and being in the media probably it should be owed to Dave LaGreca giving me a shot.
He's awesome. I'm a big fan of his. What has been the reaction from your show about me and Cole? You guys think I'm going to win, obviously? Yeah?
You know what? I think that you need to watch your back because just like you said, Adam, you're a smart guy. You chalk it up to being smart. It's smart for you to have guys that help you achieve your ultimate goal. And Roderick Strong and like these guys can hurt you.
I mean,
so
when I'm not looking.
like while you're focusing on him, I would be like, "Hey, Goose, check your six." You never know. You never know. So, any advice? If I was going to give you advice, I'd be like, don't stand back and wait on him. You're bigger than him. You're stronger than him. Overpower him and check your six.
Okay.
That's my advice.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to end this thing quick, by the way. I think everybody knows that I've been very, very open that I am trying to end this thing quick. I'm trying to get this over with as quick as possible because maybe, I mean, there's a chance that my cardio might come into question. My cardio might come into question.
You said maybe?
Maybe, Mark, maybe. I mean, I enjoy life. Everybody knows that. But maybe the cardio could come into question if this goes long. So I believe Mike Tyson, okay, his plan was for that thing to last one round. That is it. That is what I'm thinking. I want this thing to be over with quick.
This is the 3 dominant cocktail of you winning.
Okay.
No cocktails.
Okay. Last time I had a few of those, you carried me home. That was fantastic. It's the next one. What's the next one?
The second thing, attack.
Okay.
Don't wait.
Okay.
And the third thing, the most important thing, check your six.
All
And
right.
I think that you can give him all he can handle because, like you say, size plays dividends. If you can get him away from a vertical base and you can think about, let me get up faster than him so I can kick him while he's down, that puts you in the winning graces. You've got to find a way to get him down while you're standing so you can do your thing.
Yeah, we'll do that quick. We'll definitely make that happen quick. Yeah. You got a chance to carry me home in New York City just 1 year ago from SummerSlam last year. And World's Strongest Man carried me home. No big deal. Mm-hmm. I mean, that is something that I shouldn't be proud of, but definitely something I'm like, yo, World's Strongest Man did.
You wasn't heavy.
Bucket list.
What a day.
You wasn't heavy. You my brother.
Well, that's what I'm about to say. Who is somebody in a match or in real life that you lifted? Has anybody ever given you a struggle at all? And what's the most amount of weight you've ever lifted at one time?
I squatted 1,006. I did lift at 924. And the 924 is the more impressive thing because when you see all of these strong men today, they use straps. You see them, they're putting the straps on, they're wrapping it around the bar, they're tucking it in, and they're pulling. They got other people helping them, get them as tight as they can, and then they do the lift. No disrespect. I'm just saying.
Oh.
I didn't use straps.
No strap. No strap.
And to be able to do 1,000-pound squat or 1,000-pound deadlift is great. But I want to see 1,000-pound deadlift with no straps.
Have you ever done it with straps, or did you just refuse? You're like, I ain't that type of guy.
Man, I didn't. Anybody that watched my powerlifting career, the whole term raw, when you hear raw powerlifting, that term was devised because of me, because I didn't use equipment.
Hey, man, it's true. And, Mark, it's Mansuri. I remember, I was telling Pat and the boys a couple weeks back, there was a point you'd gotten inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame at the Arnold Classic Festival in Columbus, Ohio, they do every year, and you were part of the first class. I remember walking through that convention hall with you because I was covering your story for WWE, and the amount of respect and listening to people just talk about Mark's accolades, including Arnold himself. Arnold at one point, was talking to Mark about it. He was like, Mark, I remember you winning the first class, the strongman competition, and you were doing this, and this. Like the amount of respect that Mark just receives and the praise in the physical culture world, I was floored because I knew the respect he got in the business, but to see it in this side of life, it was absolutely unheard of. And then I did my research, and the numbers are just staggering.
That documentary is awesome. I mean, it is awesome to watch you because you struggled a little bit, right, at one point, and then you had to come back and get it again. It's just like you're an animal, man. And by the way, incredibly cool dude, which I assume is not normal in that world. I assume it's a lot of meathead, super meathead world over there.
You know what, man? Like some of the most enjoyment that I've ever had. No disrespect to my meathead brothers, but I've been in conversations with people where, in my mind, I'm like, "Don't laugh, just straight face it. And I've almost peed myself listening to some of the absurd requests as well as stories that I've heard. And this guy told me about his diet one time. And he said that, you know what, man, one of the things that I do, you remember Rocky? And I was like, yeah. He said, you remember Rocky did the eggs? You know, meat has more protein in it. I do ground meat, and I take ground meat and I grind it again with water and drink it. And I was like, that is not sanitary. Like, you may die from that, sir. Please don't do that. Like, I mean, it was like, I would get stuff like that all the time. I mean, not, what do you do? What makes you so strong? And I was like, well, you know what, man? God gave me an unlimited amount of crazy.
Oh, okay.
Because if I lose or if I miss a lift, I can't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Terry Todd said that he thought that in the 15 years that he was around me, he saw me miss an attempt 10 times. And those 10 times that I missed, I know I didn't sleep for a couple of days until I can get it off my mind. What can I do to make myself better? I'm a 50-year-old man, and I train 3 times a week. I'm still rocked up.
Okay. Hell yeah.
My genetics and my will to not fail is what made me Mark Henry. If I was a superhero, I wouldn't be the Hulk. I'd love to be the Hulk. I'm a big fan, but I would be Hal Jordan. My will is what makes me a superhero.
Okay, do you think your will comes from growing up in that neighborhood? Obviously, that is, you either get your ass kicked or killed, and that's like your opportunity. Like, hey, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go. I'm going to work my ass off.
Oh yeah, I know for a fact that that's what made me. And the thought of failure. I saw a lot of failure, not only in my neighborhood and around, but I saw failure in my home. And I was the kid that learned what not to do by seeing, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And too many people, they learn by what somebody tells them rather than using their experiences. And that's why the program that I put together, Mark Henry Strong Kids, is based off experiences. And I want them to have new experience. I raise money so that they can have more experiences. I've been cussed out at least 3 times in the last 2 years by my wife because I just use my money to do it.
Yeah.
And she realized it's a good cause and that I'm doing a noble thing. But hey, you got 2 kids of your own. Like, stop using your money and ask these big corporations for money. So that's kind of where I've gone with it now.
Well, experiences are what bring your maturity, and it's really experiences teach you a lot more than anything else. I also saw you were doing some youth sports initiative where you had a stacked card. I don't know if that happened last Saturday or this upcoming Saturday or next Saturday.
This past Saturday.
This past Saturday. I saw the flyer for it. You feel like a real obligation to give back, I feel like. And that is something that I think is what makes me such a big Mark Henry fan. It's like you're a guy who conquered it, been there, done that, self-admitted as a crazy person, but you will give back to whoever, whenever, however, man. It's an awesome thing.
I have seen a lot of people take incredible gifts to the grave and not share. I will not be that guy. On my tombstone, there's a "Here lies a great man who gave all his shit away before he died."
That's a cool tombstone. Hey, that's a cool tombstone.
And I'm telling you, like, I feel like I need to let the world have what I've got because it was given to me. It's not my place to keep it. It's to keep it moving, to push it forward. And you know, that's like I feel good when I do it too. I don't know if you've ever had that feeling where everybody's gone and there's nobody there to pat you on the back and you look in the mirror and you go, yeah, we did that. And I get a lot of joy out of that.
That's fulfillment, man. That's like real fulfillment there. And that's when I retired from kicking balls, for the wrestling fans that are watching and learning about me for the first time, as the best in the NFL when I retired. Okay, Pro Bowl, whatever. Thank you. It's a craft. Okay, it's a craft. But I retired at the top. But I was starting to fall in love with that fulfillment feeling that I was getting off the field through the foundation, through making people laugh, through that whole thing. And that fulfillment feeling is something you cannot put a price tag on. It is real.
No, you can't. You can't put a price tag on it. And I've done everything, Pat, to try to find a joy like I have now. And I told you, man, I used to do the tour of strip joints, thinking that I'm going to find my joy in the strip club. I used to ball a lot. If guys would spend $5,000, I'm spending $5,000. We're going to make it. We're going to do it big. I bought $3,000 and $4,000 liquor tabs, and I don't drink.
Thank you for those, by the way.
I don't even drink. So then I said, you know what? What else makes me feel good? Comedy. So then I go and I perform at Caroline's. You're supposed to start at mini marts and bingo halls. Screw that. I'm gonna go straight to New York City to the biggest comedy club in the country, and killed. I try to find my joy where I want to find it, but nothing feels better than when I'm with those kids and they like, yeah, all right, let's go. Like that feeling, that just got goosebumps.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's what gets me.
Hey, I'm happy you found it here. You got another 50 years at least on this earth at the age of 50.
Maybe.
Change
the Henrys start checking out around 70, brother.
Hey, the McAfee family tree is not a tall one either, brother. I mean, that thing goes quick.
It's a lot of women, but all the men, they like, where's everybody?
I'm gonna have you have some joy on Saturday. I want to let you know that. There's gonna be some real joy on Saturday because the first conversation I had with you, we talked, good convo. I don't think you knew who I was though at that point. You go back to your room, you Googled me, searched me, saw some of my highlights because you're a big football fan. And the next day you actually told me, you're like, hey, this man's supposed to be in our business right here. This guy is supposed to be in our business. You've been a guy since the first day I met you who has been a big fan and like friend of mine, like a good friend of mine in the business. So I appreciate the hell out of you. Also, you carried me home when I was pretty intoxicated. So I very much appreciate
After
you.
you threw up too. I was like,
allegedly.
Whoa. Gonna throw up on my back.
Allegedly. By the way, there was a lot in there that night. I was on a full keto diet too. I mean, that thing it was a recipe for disaster, but it was free beers. And I was just chugging beers. I was just chugging beers at that point.
Pat, you know that there's people always say that to be a professional wrestler, you have to have that je ne sais quoi. You got to have that something else, that thing that when people walk in a room and you go, who's that guy? Who's that girl? Oh, damn, who's that girl? Like you got to have something. And when I met you, you had that. And I wasn't thinking like, oh, this guy's, going to be a wrestler. I'm thinking this guy is very glib. He's going to be great on the microphone. And little did I know, you're great on the microphone.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
But that's kind of been my MO. From the Baron Corbins of the world, the Daniel Bryans, the Bianca Belairs, the Braun Strowmans, and there's been probably another 20 or 30 guys from the time that I was in Louisville in 99 to now that are in the business because I spoke up for them and said, hey, they supposed to be here.
Man.
Like that, if you put him in the gym and make him look like a wrestler, he's going to be good. You take her and give her a good weave and some makeup, she gonna make it.
Jeez.
There's a couple of people that needed some makeup, but I'm just saying. But I know what that looks like, and I'm not batting 1,000, but the Apollo Crews, and the list goes on, man. Like there's people in the business that I can see them, and I just know that they're meant for it. And when I said that, I meant it. I see what would be really good in our business, and I think you're gonna be good for the business. I don't want you to think that one win or one loss is going to define you.
Okay.
And when I say that, I want you to go into this match and try to take his head off.
Yes.
And,
Hell yeah.
If you don't, it's not like you're going to be done. It's not like you're going to get browbeat. It's not like it's the end of the road. You take what you learn from that loss and you go back and you correct it. But I don't see you losing.
Me neither, by the way.
You are bigger than him.
Yep.
You have got the 3-pronged game plan.
No cocktails, attack, watch your 6.
You good.
Feel good.
And then afterwards, hopefully I'll be there because I'm trying to finagle my way down there. I'll have a cooler full of frosty beverages for you.
Oh, that's very nice of you. I appreciate it.
And I'm going to have about 3 or 4 Cokes in there for me. And maybe a couple of bottles of water. You got to have hydrate.
Yeah. It's Orlando, too. It's hot.
But that is what you do. Right now, nothing. No women weak in legs.
Oh, I'm married. My lady is here with me.
So you're not having sex anyway.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Oh my God! But I believe in you. I think you can get it done. But I just don't agree about some of the how we got there.
Okay. Well.
And that's some of that can be private conversation. Or we can talk about it. But I just I look at you as being the bigger man. And, like there's a lot of times where I had to swallow my pride and swallow my tongue because I couldn't say what I was feeling. If I did it, the best advice I ever got was from Owen Hart. He said, Mark, you're entertaining. When you get angry, it's the most scary and the most exciting shit I ever saw in my life. He said, but if you really feel that way, don't say it where everybody can hear you. Pull that person aside when the cameras are off and nobody's around and say, hey, man, I ain't really feeling how you talk to me. The next time, there will be no warning. This is the warning. There will be no warning. They will be waking your ass up with smelling salts. Are we clear? And when you say, are we clear, your other hand needs to be coming up and this one needs to be coming a fist. Because never let your guard down because some people quick.
Amen.
So that's why I'm saying I want you to, my light went out because
it's probably because the light, by the way, thought you were talking to it, by the way. The light was right. We are clear.
Like,
I'm going to get the hell out of here.
Let me power down. I don't want to get hurt.
Mark,
that's kind of what I was saying. It's not that I'm saying that you were wrong because I think wholeheartedly you were right to defend yourself. If somebody talks shit to me, I'm pretty slick with the tongue. I'm going to talk back. I'm going to talk back to you.
Have to do it.
And if talking don't fix it, then there's always the door, and it usually spins to the right. And you can pull on it and go outside, and I'll be right behind you. So let's go.
Hey, Mark, I can't thank you enough. I know the boys were excited you were coming on to chat. I will see you very, very soon. This is an awesome time to be alive. I'm 3 days away from a fight, and hopefully I can channel a little Mark Henry from last SummerSlam carrying me home and carry a dub out of that ring on Saturday night in the first 2 minutes because we do know that the vitamins could have an effect on the cardio, and we do not want to find out. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer, Hall of Painter, hosted a Busted Open, legendary human, Mark Henry.
I want to be your Ed McMahon.
Oh, you're 100% it. Come on. We got a chair right here for you, by the way. Just come on down.
I mean, I would have to go through the drug lord palace and try to see if there's anything that was left behind. Not the drugs.
No, just stuff.
The money.
Yeah. There's some things probably hidden in some.
Look under the bottom of the chairs. That's why I used to always duct tape the extra cash.
Yeah, and I've seen documentaries and movies. I mean, we're going to give a thorough search of this place at some point.
Cut the cushions open.
Hopefully you'll be here. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Henry. Appreciate you, Mark. 1,000-pound squat, 962-pound deadlift, no straps. He did just kind of swoop me up, though, on his shoulder. I mean, it was a wild scene. And then he even put me in the car, and he rolled the window down and was like, all right, put your head out there. And I was like, Mark.
He's done it before.
What a nice guy. Oh, yeah. He said, I am on a long list of wrestling people that he's done that to. And I asked him who, and he was like, well, it's not my job to tell you who ended up like this. And I was like, and then he said there were some legends on there, though. And I'm like, well, all right, that makes me feel good. I'm excited for Saturday. We all are. It is fight week. Big thank you to Mark Henry for joining us. Sexual Chocolate, Hall of Fame. And that Busted Open show is really good. I'm a wrestling fan, so I listen to it later. It is really, really cool to hear them talk about things and that inside story. I mean, the wrestling world is its own world, and it's its own world.
Yeah.
The stories are just electric. From all of us to all of you, if you enjoyed this show, please tell a friend. If you didn't, just act like it never fucking happened. Tell your friend to subscribe. We're on the road to 1 million. Once we get to 1 million subscribers, we are going big on the giveaway. We can't thank you enough. I got to go get the body ready.
Yeah.
Go get the body ready. It is fight week, and we're only a couple days out. I can't wait for it. This has been the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, August 19th, 2020. I'll be on USA Network tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm not going alone, and I ain't scared of shit. Cheers.